take care of that. And if you don't want to do that, then vote no for that resolution.
So you're on the main.
Yes. So
I got to have a motion and a second first.
I'll make a motion. Amendment.
I second it.
All right, we got a motion second now. Do your amendment. You want to include this resolution?
Yes. Without the language of doing away with the tax relief that was back in 2008 and whatever that was.
Okay. Mr. Money, you want to complete yours, you want to amend his?
Yeah, but I know we need and raise that $50 to $100.
What's on your original?
$100. Mine's the same thing, and it's all I done is took that language about. It's identical to that language. I just took that language down, raised it from $50 to $100, technically. If you want to use it, that's fine, I'll withdraw it. Mine is wrong.
You want to use your statement
Yes.
on your amendment? Okay. So everybody understand it?
His is different. They're two different. He needs to incorporate. He can incorporate into this. The difference in this new document resolution and the 2008 resolution is it takes out the void language and changes the amount from $50 to $100.
And that's what you want to amend his?
I understand. The language that was used didn't sound right to me. I just want to make sure for the minutes that you get it right.
Okay. Yeah.
So if it's included, will we be passing the whole
If you vote on this one,
freeze in there?
Yes.
We're not going to vote two separate times for it.
Not if that's agenda is in it, just adopt this agenda, that's not.
yeah, be both of them.
I'd like to see them separate. Yeah. Far on my concern.
So we would still be hiring people to do the work.
If you combine them, Larry.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, you can make a motion and make it two different votes.
You got a motion to amend, you have to vote. Your amendments, you have to vote no. Because it's not passed.
Yes.
Mr. Money, is it $100 county contribution of the county over the $50 that comes from the state?
Yes, yes. The county was $50, and I raised it to $100.
Why don't vote is, then is.
That's his decision.
Withdraw is, vote on is, and then vote on Mr. Cook's.
Well,
He has been them both together, just like Mr. Reed said.
Well, that's what we got to amend. And second, so we're going to vote on it if you don't want to vote for that one to be on the same one, vote no. Everybody understand? All right. We're voting on the amendment. Clerk, call the roll.
Yes.
Yes.
Which Schuster? Haley Walker?
Yes.
Nathan Henderson?
No.
Gary Ford?
No.
Mike Campbell?
No.
Stephen Crawford?
No.
Tim Shroud?
No.
Pat Mullins?
No.
Anthony Rose?
No.
Mitchell Crosby?
No.
Rosemary Burnett?
No.
Carolyn Brooks?
No.
Steve Mason?
No.
Steve Rogan?
no.
Eric Jones?
No.
Sherry Prairie? No. David Mundy?
Yes.
Quentin Roberts?
No.
original motion. Mr. Cook, you have anything else, or we ready to vote?
I think there needs to be.
So we're, so we're now voting on the original,
Original motion.
uh,
Or any other discussion regarding the original motion?
well, yeah, I would like to, say, you know, today, I went to 3 different counties and talked to them after our workshop Thursday, and just try to, get some general information. Like we done know, Union County has both these in place. They give $100, plus they've got the tax freeze in place. They give, the state, this go around was $108 that the state contributed, elderly, and they kick in an extra $100 from the county. Campbell County, state kicks in $99. They've got about 1,100 folks enrolled in the program. They don't, the county don't offer a supplement there in Campbell County. As far as the workload, the lady at Union County told me that they did not hire an extra person simply because they've not had a tax rate. They don't know what the workload would be. Campbell County had a person that they was done hired before the tax freeze took effect, so, you know, they didn't know they needed an employee anyway, but like I said, they had one in place before they passed the tax freeze. But, you know, this, it boils down for the public to know, it boils down if you want extra help for that group of people that's 65 years and older, that's making, on the average right now, $37,500. And it boils down if you want to help them with this extra layer of protection if they was to need it. For taxes, if they go up, theirs will be froze at the current tax rate, and it won't be a burden to them. So, you know, other counties, 27 counties, that's done adopted it. It's just an extra layer of protection for them. This county commission has the right to vote any way they want to vote. If they accept it, great. It's more help for the elderly. If you don't, then that layer of protection's not there, and it's dead. But as public servants, we've got the right to take care of those people, I believe. And I think we ought to do all that we can to take care of them. And if you, like I said earlier, we got the right to vote however you want to vote. But if you vote to not have that layer of protection for our most vulnerable people in the county, then you need to go on record and vote no. And say you don't want it for them. And, you know, if somebody wants to chime in on that, I might have some answers from the other counties I visited today. I'm just sharing information that I went and visited other counties and talked to them about it. So, you know, anybody's welcome to get in their car and go and other counties and talk to clerks and trustees as well.
The counties you spoke to, have any of them actually had to use it?
Campbell County has.
They had a raise,
Campbell County's had a tax increase, but
but they don't have someone hired to do it, or?
they hired a person before the tax freeze went into effect. So they had a person there already employed.
Did you talk to Shane's office, the tax assessor, or tax appraisal office, to see if it would take another person?
Haley can.
I did, and Shane said that his part of the process would basically remain the same as it is right now. There would not be any extra steps, but he did let me know that because of the number of parcels increasing, he may need somebody in his office simply because they have more parcels to work on. So it wouldn't be due to this tax freeze.
But it would be due to the tax freeze because that's what would make more parcels, wouldn't it?
No. That's not how he he explained it to me.
But the trustee in our meeting said she would have to have another employee.
Yeah, when we had our workshop, and, you know, I don't think everybody's understanding that, you know, if you do this, you have to make, only people that it'll take will be advantage for is somebody that makes $37,000. Just because you're 65 don't mean you're going to get it. Okay? And we're giving them $50, the county is right now. Okay, and if you freeze it now, I mean, you know, we might not have a tax increase for 2 or 3 years. But what's going to happen to our children when there is an increase? You know, who's going to pay for that? The middle class people are going to be the one that's paying for it. You know, and right now, the seniors that qualify for this, they've not even used all the money that we've set aside to give the $50 for. And what, you know, it's in the workshop, Denise told everybody, you know, those women, they've got enough to do what they're doing now. They barely get by with what they're doing. And when they do this, when they do it now, the county, the government sort of helps them do this, who qualify. But now they don't have, if we do this, if we freeze it, nobody, they won't have that. They'll take that away from them. And we'll end up having to hire 2 more people, is what we have to end up hiring. We'd have to hire one for Alexander, for her office, and for the breeding office. So, you know, and right now everybody that's getting it is getting it, you know, and if we raise it up, they'll even help them more than it would be to have it tax free. Because it's only a 5 acres that you can have it freeze in. You have to make 37 something, 37,000 is the only way you get this tax free or tax free.
For the household.
For the household, that's per household. Let's say.
37 or less. And that's
Yeah,
why
or less.
and that's why we try to emphasize on taking care of our most vulnerable people. That's the people that needs to be looked at and taken care of. And I did say the union.
Now, most of them don't pay now.
I did say in Union County, as far as the application and being approved or certified, however you want to put it, I don't know if every county is the same or not, but I did talk to the lady, and she did talk about to be verified that the state did that for them. If they send the application off, the state determines if they qualify, then they send it back to the local trustee in that county to be put into the system.
And they have a tax freeze in their county?
Yes. Plus give them $100.
Okay, well, I'm not disputing your word, but Denise is here. If anybody would like to hear from her, you know, what she told us in the workshop, then I would appreciate it if one of them would let us know what he said was true or not. I mean, if that's the way it is. I can't say what goes on in Union County. Correct, what goes on here in Claiborne.
There's 95 counties in the state of Tennessee, and only 27 has adopted. And that 20 of them adopted it back in 2007 when it first came out. Over the years, the counties found out there's just too much loss in it. It is better for the supplement than it is that to do the tax freeze. And you're only talking about 600 people in the county to start with. And your income does have to be under that 37,000. But those that are just barely over the 37,000 is the ones that's going to have to pick up where what's taken away from the freeze. Somebody has to pick it up. The extra 50 will be the biggest. That would be, I mean, they would really appreciate that. So raising it to $100 is great.
So Mr. Cook, let me ask this.
Yeah, and that would be immediately. With this tax freeze, you don't see any savings whatsoever to the tax rate.
Mr. Cook,
Yeah.
you're talking about voting on this. So, as the trustee just said, there's 600 people on it.
Yes,
So,
per senior.
with the freeze, say down the road taxes do go up, are you saying you're willing to take the part that those 600 are not going to pay and distribute to the rest of the county residents just because they're at a different income bracket?
What is it that sheet Haley had? If it goes up a nickel, it's how much? But give me just a minute, Zach, I'm lost in my
Mr. Chairman,
paperwork here.
can I say something while he's looking at that?
Go ahead.
Listen, I'm all for helping senior citizens, but here's the deal. That you're looking down the road. Dennis, I got an idea that can save senior citizens money right now, and it won't cost us a nickel. Cut the $25 wheel tax, and that won't just, not only will that help senior citizens, it'll help everybody. I mean, if you're wanting to help them, cut something out. There you go, cut the wheel tax. If you're looking at it that way.
I'd be for that too, but, you know, I'm just
But the
saying,
thing that you're gonna
we're
have-
saying that, going back to Eric, or Zach's question, you talk about picking up the tax rate, so if it went up to 5 cents, we're talking $25. If the tax rate went up, you're talking about $25 a person, if the tax rate went up 5 cents. Yes, absolutely, I would pay the extra $25 on my taxes.
Well, I didn't say you, I said countywide.
Well,
I mean, you're talking about people that's only
well,
going to be
let me
making
ask this, are we not,
39,000,
are we
are they
not
willing to pay the
commissioned,
other 5 cents?
are we not commissioned to help the need? Are we not?
Sadly, we are, Dennis, but the thing I'm saying is, the bracket is $38,000.
Okay. Well,
Okay. What about somebody that's making $39,000? That nickel to them or whatever you're talking about is just as important as it is to anybody. I mean, I'm glad that you're making enough money that we're living on. All of us are right now. But what's going to happen to those people that, I mean, I've got people in my district that only makes $39,000, but they don't qualify for none of it. So who's going to pick up that? You know, they are the ones that has to pick that up. And that's not fair to the people that's not making that. And at least the one that's got $38,000, making $38,000, they're getting help. But the people in my district that only makes $39,000, they're not getting the 100. Like last year it was, you know, they got this year they got $157 if they qualified. And most of them, their taxes wasn't even that high anyhow. So their taxes was poor to begin with.
And that's fine, but, I mean, like I said at the beginning, it's 21 commissioners, you vote any way you want to vote, so that's fine. You know, you just need to go, it's things that other counties are doing. We just done the research, brought the information to the table. You vote any way you want to vote, that's fine, you know. But we need to be on record of how we're going to vote.
One thing.
I went on to Nashville about exactly 4 years ago, or almost 4 years ago, for, you went with me as well, the county orientation.
Yeah.
We had the comptroller's office come in and talk to us about finances. Vote on. The lady said something that resonated with me, and I still remember it to this day. She said, stuff that you're going to be voting on will not affect you right now, but it will 5 years down the road, and 10 years down the road. So what you got to look out for is, she goes, so everything you vote on, she goes, just remember, look down the road at what it's going to do. Because she goes, after you voted, you can't change it 5 years down the road because it's already in. So one of the things I'm all for helping people, which is why I would vote for the $50 extra. But I'm not going to vote for someone who has no clue what the financial constraint that's going to cause the county down the road and put everybody else in a bind.
And there's no guarantee that we will be the commission to have to face that, because so many commissioners or so many people are running for commission. It's easy for us to vote emotionally, but then we may leave them holding the sack, and I hate to do that. You know, to me, it might be a decision we would pass down the road and pass after the election.
And two, you can't compare us to other counties because you're comparing apples to oranges. How many of them counties that you checked with, how many of them have 2 fairly new high schools, a new justice center, and some of the things? So you can't, you can't compare it. And like Eric said, you don't just look now. If we're going to vote on that, 6 years, how much is that going to take? 6 years, 8 years, 10 years down the road. And I'll guarantee you one thing, if we vote that on, right now, they'll never get it took off. Y'all know as well as I do. They never get it off, because when you go to vote it, this here will be standing room only. People that don't want it off. And listen, I'm for help, but you got to look at this thing, the big picture, And it's easy to sit here and say, yeah, I'll vote for them. Help with the senior citizens, But listen, you've got to look at the big picture. You've got to look down the road.
One thing that Denise did state in the workshop last Thursday that stuck with me was, if you look back historically, Claiborne County, there's been several multi-year periods where property taxes have not rose. So good stewardship from the county court at that time. However, let's just say that this were to pass and we're able to maintain another $50 will take effect this year. So it's going to help this population this year regardless of what the tax rate does. The only thing that this is going to help is if taxes were to fluctuate. The other $50 that Commissioner Mundy's proposing here, according to what Denise said, is going to go into effect this year. So that population is going to receive assistance immediately. That kind of stuck with me. A promise is not as good as cash in hand.
And that's a good point. And they do get it immediately, but unfortunately we are talking about down the road. Baby boomers is the largest growing population. So in 10 years, 15 years, you're going to have a lot more people in that age group. And that's the ones that we're talking about looking out for in the future. That's the growing population, the baby boomers. So, like I said, I'm not trying to, you could vote any way you want to vote. It's just something that, like I said, other people's doing. If we want to look at it, to take care of those, to try to help those people, we can. If we don't, you don't have to. I mean, it's just a simple resolution to say, yeah, I will, or no, I won't.
Any other discussion?
How many people, Dennis, you think you got in your district at young age, got 3 or 4 kids, and making $18,000? They're the ones that's going to have to pay for this, whether they're renters or whether they own property or whatever. They're the very people that's going to have to pay for what you're talking about.
And that goes down, Steve, it's just a moral thing. If I'm willing, I'm willing to pay my extra $20 or something to see something like this put in play down the road to help.
Bird's hands better do it bush.
Yes, sir, come up to the podium.
Come to the podium, my friend.
Good evening, everybody. Robert Hine here. I think one of you guys made a comment about the next commissioners, and if for some reason you guys don't get reelected. Like I said before, I think this is a phenomenal plan. But I guess my number one question is the current budget, do we have a surplus? Does anybody know that?
I don't know, but I asked the question in the workshop, if we could afford to raise the other 50, and we can raise the other 50 and it wouldn't make anything happen, but if we have to hire 2 more people, because we would have to hire 2 more people and buy another set of equipment for them to use, then that would be hard on our budget.
Okay, so if it's going to be hard on the budget, and the budget's already tight as it is anyways, why are we going to rob Peter to pay Paul? And I understand there's a baby boomers crisis. Trust me, millennials are going to go through the same problem. However, though, if my understanding is correct, all 21 of you took this oath to make this county better, right? And it's not just about the individual people or the older senior citizens or so, although I think we do need to take care of them. But we got to make it so, or you guys have to make it in a way where it makes sense, where it doesn't cost every single one of us out here. Some of us are not as blessed as others, you know, and I get that. I'm all about helping people out and doing what is right. But like somebody just said over here, it's the long-term plan. So methodically, how do we come up with a solution to the problem? Sir, you're right. We are not Union County. We are Claiborne County. And that's what makes Claiborne County who we are. There's a reason a lot of people in this room tonight, because they have concerns. But at the same time, 21 of you collectively voice your concerns because you're listening to what your constituents are telling you. And let's come up with a good plan. So that way across the board, maybe not this month, maybe not tonight, but within the near future, we have a solid plan and we can tell the people transparency. This is how we're going to solve the problem without raising 5 cents. Because I could probably afford 5 cents, and I'm not shooting my dang horn, but I know there's other people that can, and I don't speak for them. But at the end of the day, we do what's right for everybody, not just for the individuals. That's what I have to say. Thank you.
Anyone else? If not, we're going to vote on the vote.
Sir, I mean, you made a comment that the baby boomers are currently 10 to 15 years down the road, it's going to be Gen X. I'm Gen X. And I don't have that kind of income. Because I'm on fixed income and I have disabilities. My daughter lives with me and she works at the Hardee's. And this is going to affect everybody countywide. Not just you guys. And whether it be the wheel tax, property tax, it affects every citizen of Claiborne County. I mean, and like Quinn said, a bird in the hand or 2 in the bush. Or you can't rob Peter to pay Paul, because eventually you're going to run out of money. Because we as citizens, we can't keep paying more and more and more. Because eventually, the poor people are going to be living in the projects, because we can't afford to pay the property taxes. I mean, I don't know if a lot of you understand that. But like I said, I'm on a fixed income. My daughter works at Hardee's. And right now we're renting, and I'm in the process of trying to buy property over in Powell Valley because that's where my family lives. Because I want to go back home. I don't like the city life over here. There's too many people.
Okay, anyone else? If not, the original motion as is with what we're voting on. Clerk, call the roll.
Zachary Bunch.
Yes.
Dennis Cook.
Yes.
Rich Shubert.
No.
Abby Barker.
Yes.
Nathan Epperson.
No.
Gary Ford,
No.
Mike Campbell,
No.
Stacy Crawford,
No.
Tim Shroud,
No.
Zach Mullins,
No.
Anthony Rowe,
No.
Richard Crosby,
No.
Rosemary Barnett,
No.
Carolyn Brooks,
No.
Steve Mason,
No.
Steve Rogan,
No.
Eric Jones,
No.
Sherry McCrary,
No.
David Bundy,
No.
Quentin Rogers.
No.
Motion fails, 3-4, 17 against. Now, moving on to, yes, sir.
Sorry, John Lee Devass here. Now that you guys have voted that down, is there a way that the commissioners can go back to the drawing board and come up with a different possibility of getting the seniors a break?
It's like,
We got it.
we got it.
Give us a minute.
So you have another one
Give
coming
us a
up?
minute. All right, we got you.
There's one coming up. All right, under new business, first item up is the information that's reported on the debt obligation. This was submitted by the finance director. Is any questions for the finance director regarding this report? If not, next item up is the information renovations to the Justice Center. This was submitted by the county mayor. Any questions or anything more you want to discuss it, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. We applied for, in my first term, an EVP grant, which is an evidence-based programming grant. We were awarded that, had some time finding licensed clinical social workers to be able to do that program. In my second term, we were lucky enough to find somebody that was local, had finished her master's work, and we hired that individual to start doing the evidence-based programming in the jail. They provide a litany of services out there for inmates, which basically revolves around counseling. That's going to be CBT, DBT, motivational interviewing, and then they connect them with services on the outside after they're released so that they don't just re-offend and go back into the same situation that they were. So that grant funding had a total liability of about $2.5 million on there, and we had barely scratched the surface with about $300,000 to $400,000. We met with the folks from the state, and we looked at what a great need we could have, and we could redo a space inside the Justice Center that would allow for dedicated office spaces for each of those individuals. And then it would also, outside of that upfit part of the grant that you're looking at right now, would allow us to hire 2 other individuals that would assist in that process. To date, Claiborne County Justice Center is a Tier 1 jail, which means that it gets more revenue from the state for inmates that it houses, and that's solely because of that evidence-based programming. If we are able to expand the program and the services, we would be about this far away of taking the Justice Center to a Tier 2 facility in the state, and then that would allow us to have more revenue for the state inmates that we get. And I want to be clear and talk out a quick misconception that I've seen on Facebook by anonymous Facebook posters. This is in no way trying to hold state inmates for money. This is in no way to have federal inmates brought into Claiborne County. This is in no way to build a larger Justice Center. In fact, because of the program, we are seeing consistently the population of Claiborne County Jail decrease because of the program. We're giving them help, trying to get these folks that are having drug and substance issues, that are reoffended, help so they don't come back through the jail. This is a good program for the jail. I want to make you all aware of it. There is zero match to the county. This is all state funded. The architects have met with the fire marshal's office. That's another lie that I saw on Facebook, is that there's not going to be any sprinkler system. Your jail already has a sprinkler system, so the state fire marshal has reviewed those plans, and the sprinkler system is going to be updated in those spaces as well. So everything is above board here, except for the fact of getting the job done. Now, we wanted to include you all in the conversation to let you all know that that's coming. We have been in talks with Sheriff Brooks and Commissioner Deputy Shrout on this process. The architects have worked with them. They've worked with Murphy Miller, who is the maintenance over at the jail, to make sure that we're in compliance and can do everything that we've done. So this is not some harebrained scheme to do something and hold new prisoners or expand the part of the jail. This is solely to help those people that are offended in Claiborne County that have co-occurring mental health issues, which would be depression, anxiety, drugs, alcohol, to get them the help they need and then get them on to the next step once they get out of jail so they don't reoffend. If you have any questions about that, I'm happy to take them.
I think it's a great idea, but do we have any data that shows the progress they've made?
I don't know that we have numbers with regards to the client. I know, I don't want to put her on the spot. I know Brooklyn is actually here. She could probably give you the numbers of people that they saw, but any qualifying data of who or sex and race, we couldn't do that. I know that it is having a great need, and they are connecting those people that would be able to do the jail work program into that. And we're also having some good conversations with the judges now in the county that are looking at individuals that are in that program, how well they're doing.
Go ahead.
How long will this program be financed by the state?
Well, I'll say this, the upfit project will be done. I think the contract that's out is about 130 days, it's for 140 days maybe to get the job done. That upfit has to be done by June 30th, so we are quickly in the process of awarding that. With regards to any state funding, OCJP can cut funding at any point in time, and if they do, you're going to have a consideration, do you want to fund this program that's working? Just like you're going to have to look at the Family Justice Center on the Hill, which is another program that's funded through OCJP. Now, there have been cuts that have come down from the federal level, and I will say that the state has done this really good job. Governor Lee has stepped up to the plate, and a lot of these OCJP programs is in this budget this year to completely fund those projects. Now, you're in a gubernatorial election this year. I can't say who is going to get the next election. So you're going to have at least 3 GOP candidates, and I think one that I've heard of as a Democratic and maybe 2 independent. So that's a crapshoot, Don. And the honest answer, I can't speak to that. I can only give you what we know, and that's going to be completely funded through the end of fiscal year 27. And that's the same with this program and the Family Justice Center as well.
Any other questions?
And I'll respond to that. So in essence, Don, I think what your question would be is, where is that liability on that grant and how long would it last? So to answer that, I can tell you that Tennessee Corrections Institute is pushing all local facilities to try to reach Tier 1 or better on their facilities. And so with that being said, I believe that as long as that is occurring, I'm sure that the state is going to continuously fight to push that and allow those grants to build these facilities up, where you have some that are very low grade or not even certified.
So if it is, if the jail goes to Tier 2, then they'll be getting more money, and if they stop financing the psychologist that's doing the work, or the psychologists, then there will be enough money to continue that program.
Yes, as long as it's funded through the state, they have their own folks that take care of that aspect. And as long as it keeps pushing forward, which is what I see with Tennessee Corrections Institute, then it will continue to push the grants out for the facilities.
Mr. Spurlock.
Chairman, thank you. Dan Spurlock with Standing the Gap Coalition, the Prevention Coalition here in the county. Just a couple of questions here that, and I haven't had the privilege of even seeing the document we're talking about on the renovation. I don't know if anybody in the audience has, but my curiosity on that is, are we talking actual physical development some further of the Justice Center? Are we adding rooms, buildings, etc.? Because we also, from the coalition, one of the things we do a bi-weekly jail ministry. So I'm in and out of the jail. I see it more frequently than a lot of people. And one of the serious hindrances in my mind to working with these inmates is the footprint of this jail. And I've visited other jails. The footprint of this jail does not allow itself or lend itself to a lot of training environment. Okay? There is a room in the back of the building pretty much as a training room. But I'm just wondering, are we talking about some physical enhancement to the jail that is also going to further, a training type of recovery type work? If we're going to hire 2 more social workers, they're not psychologists, they're social workers. If we're going to hire up 2 more, then we're going to need the room in the facility to do that kind of work. That's one thing. The other thing I have, I'm wondering about this program, because it's going to come up later this evening, too, for discussion. Okay, but that is one of the things that I see all the time over at the jail, and I'm sure Lieutenant Shrout can speak to this, but the hiring and keeping of correctional officers in our jail facility is a huge challenge. Is a program like this going to take a correctional officer from $12 or $15 an hour to $25 an hour? Because you're going to need more correctional officers if you're going to boost up the program and enhance that program. And the last thing I would want to mention is, and this has been a concern of mine, our coalition has been involved 15 years, folks, in this county. 15 years we've been doing prevention work. And the thing, starting all the way back to Dr. Evan Robertson, and I don't know if many of you remember Evan, we started together in this program. And Evan told me a long time ago, he said, the problem is still the same. They can come through our facility, they can do their time, but when they come out the back door, what are they going to do next? If there's no family to go to, if there's no job to go to, if there's no contact to immediately go to, then most probably they're going to revert. And I know one of the things I see, it's not our job when we do our jail ministry, it's not our job to get to know these people. But we do have a relationship with them somewhat. But I see the faces. I see the faces coming back through, and coming back through, and coming back through. And one of the most dangerous things that we know is within the first 72 hours of release from a penal institution, if there's been a significant drug involvement in that person's future, in their past, that first 72 hours is critical. What is our monitoring program going to be for those people? We don't even have any kind of a halfway house or a standby location for someone in those environments. So I just have some questions about the comprehensiveness of what we're doing, and it's two-sided. One, we got a physical plant that's going to change with a lot of enhancements toward training and the recovery training. And 2, what are we going to do if we're going to increase the size of the facility? What are we going to do to take care of working with these people, additional correctional officers, etc.? Thank you.
So I can speak to the first point of that. The drawings are actually on the county website. For those of you who may not know how to find that, you go to claibornecountytn.gov. You can look under county offices, county commission will pop up, click on county commission, and then there you'll find the packet that all your county commissioners have. We upload that the Friday before this meeting. The statute is 48 hours. We do that 3 days ahead of time. The drawings are there. We are not adding any roof space to the building, but we are upfitting an area inside the jail that is a dead area. It is a 2-story access point that goes around when you go up to the crow's nest where the officers can look and punch buttons and let people in and out of doors. So there are going to be 4 offices upstairs is where it's going to be built at. Those are all on the county website. Please go look at them. One office is going to be for a master's level social worker that's going to do counseling services. The second office is going to be for a master level social worker who is also going to be doing counsel services. These individuals are currently doing group sessions either in the pods or in the training area inside the jail. There's no new roof space to it. You're going to have a bachelor's level social worker that's going to be hired under this grant, and she is going to be tasked with just connecting people to services on the outside so that there is a recovery home or a halfway house or a drug program for them to go to instead of falling into that 72-hour trap and then reoffending and coming back to jail. That's a key piece that we're missing. You're also going to have an entry-level person that is just going to be helping out with day-to-day tasks of signing documents, getting people to fill out applications, assisting with any needs that either of the 3 social workers need to have, and that's the space that's outlined upstairs. Now, I can't speak, hang on a second. I can't speak to the other 2 areas that Mr. Spurlock brought up, but I can say this. It's almost foolish not to do anything when you've got free money to try to do something. And that's the intent of what we're doing with the evidence-based programming out there in the jail. I can't say that it's 100%. I can't say that somebody that goes to rehab for 3 years is not going to get on drugs in the 4th year. I don't know people, but people need help, and that's what the program is intended to do. Shane?
Wouldn't rehabilitation make them work? Like, couldn't inmates go to the schools, caulk the windows that are leaking, and just help that way? And if there's any money left over from the project, could it be donated to the schools? Because I visited a couple of schools and they're pretty run down.
So I would say to your point, inmates cannot be on any school ground when children are present. If you wanted to do something with the summer program to upfit that and supervise, like they're out on trustee status with either picking up garbage or working at the highway department or wherever, sure, talk to your next sheriff, and I'm sure they would probably allow for that.
Well, I would make them do something.
Right. Well, I'm not saying they can't do something. There's not enough opportunity for everybody to do anything. So you've got several jail and work programs that are going, and men and women now are leaving the jail through a temp agency and either working at Homesteaders or are working at England's. I think they're trying to work out something with Giles's to try to get them placements in there. They leave, go to work, come back to the jail, and then their money is deposited in the county's account with their last 4 numbers as an identifier. I think the best track record of anybody that's left the county with about $47,000 in a check so that they could get an apartment, get a car, and they are still working at Homesteaders, is my understanding. Can't speak to that because that was about 3 years down the road when that happened. With regards to donating supplies, if you're a builder and you have excess supplies, I know I go down to West Knoxville to that gift exchange down there that people donate stuff, and they may have an extra vanity, a sink, or paint, and they use that to sell that for money to help people out. If you all are builders in the county and you want to donate paint, caulking, whatever that can be used for the schools, donate it. It takes a simple resolution for the school board to say we accept it, and then they'll go off to the work about having that done.
This is about the growth program.
Can you please use the microphone?
Microphone. Yeah. Tim knows this. My oldest daughter, just recently, almost 2 years ago, Tim, got out of jail. As far as I know, she's still clean. She's living in the valley with a relative. And I'm hoping she's clean. But you can't make somebody just drop their drugs and quit doing them. That's a fact. Jim knows that. I know that. I think everybody in this room knows that. You can't make somebody quit doing something. Yeah, you can force them to go to rehab, but they have to want to change it. They have to have a reason to want to quit. I know this. My daughter is working. She's doing a whole lot better. I'm proud of her. But I had to run her away from my house because she was making me crazy. Yeah, Dan's got a point, but you cannot make somebody quit doing drugs, no matter how many times they've been to jail. I know this. My daughter spent 10 years in addiction, living homeless over in Palo Alto. So, yeah, sometimes counseling helps, sometimes rehab as well. it'll work. But sometimes they just need a good old fashioned kicking in the butt. And that's just being blunt. Tim knows that because he offered, he said, you got her straightened out? Do I need to put my foot in her butt? Did you not see him? Yep. I mean, I just wanted to make that statement because I know for a fact that you cannot make a drug addict just up and quit.
Any other discussions regarding the Justice Center renovation?
Those extra jobs that it's making, are they gonna be, are they all like, are they gonna be at the maintenance of efforts, or are they all gonna end when the?
That would be up to you all. Most of the OCJP grants are not maintenance of effort. So it would be a travesty though if we took this program and said we're not gonna fund it, just like we're not gonna fund the Family Justice Center for all it's doing for those victims. So,
it come down like it wouldn't work correctly.
like most grants, when the grants end, you don't have to have it unless it's something that's mandated by the state you don't have. And I think that we're going to have to look at a lot of stuff on the school side with some of the unfunded mandates that the school system is doing. When those TISA funds and stuff run out, you're going to have to start looking at those. Those won't be an option.
Anyone else?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. So as far as the footprint that you're speaking about, Mr. Spurlock, this area is secluded and off to anyone. There is no access either to you or anyone other that works at the Claiborne County Justice Center as far as correctional. This is an area that is next to the tower. It's not accessible. It's not set up for training. We have a library that we use for training. We have a training room that we use for training as well. With that being said, I think there was some confusion. I think you had asked me previously about involving the Helen Ross McNabb, which is up and coming as well in this agenda. Those are two different things when it comes to the work release program we operate and the work release program that Helen Ross McNabb does. It is not directly involved with us. It is straight through the judicial part, and it goes through the evidence-based programming, and it's up to the judges, and it's up to the district attorney's office to make those decisions on Helen Ross McNabb, not our work release. So I just wanted to clarify that part. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Yes, Mr. Norman.
So sometimes it's nice to put a face to the name. My name is Brooke Mullen, and I'm the Director of Evidence-Based Programming at the Claiborne County Jail. I started May the 22nd of 2023. To say that I'm blessed to be in this position is an understatement. I often tell the inmates they help me more than I can ever help them. And then this is my case manager and the other program facilitator, Bailey. To give you all an idea of what we actually do. And so we do reentry services, and that's completely Bailey, so we can give them any resources that they may be interested in. As she stated, we can't make anybody change, but trust me, we try. And then the other things that we do that she helps me with, so I do group therapy with them, and so we offer a plethora of group therapy options. So the main one that we option is moral recognition therapy, which I means so much to you all. But we offer anger management classes, parenting classes, and 3 different drug prevention classes, as well as a male and female trauma focused class. And then I also can do individual counseling on a case-by-case basis. In the year of fiscal year 25, we actually served anywhere from 150 to 200 inmates. So that's how many people were touched with the funding. With the funding as well, we can offer clothing to them on their release. We have a lot of people that come in half-dressed or anything like that, and so we can offer them clothing, or they don't have anything. So we can offer that to them as well. But right now we're drowning. There's a lot of work to be done, and we can't do it alone anymore. Knowing that 2 girls served about 150 people in 2025. That's wonderful, but we're struggling. And so without this funding, without this renovation, we would not be able to do that. And so I just ask you all to consider that. And I'm open to any questions.
The 3rd person already been hired?
We are working, so as Joe said, it took a long time to find me, so we don't really have a lot of social workers in Claiborne County, which is unfortunate. So we're working on and still actively hiring, if anybody knows a bachelor's level social worker. And then the 4th person, a support person, is a little bit easier. The requirements are not as vast. And so I think we did get a few applicants for that, and so we're looking at that now.
I just know noticed he said she, so I
Yeah,
thought maybe
yeah,
you
the
wanted to
general,
add
yeah.
another, you mentioned person with the other day. Just curious. I know, they and me.
Any questions for her? Thank you.
Thank you all for your time.
Okay, anything else before we move on?
One question.
Yes, sir.
For the mayor, does the county commissions have to approve this major renovation to the jail?
I'm going to say no because there's no debt service to it. Like I said, Mr. Lee, I've talked to the sheriff, I've talked to Tim Shrout, we met with TCI on that, we've met with the architects, we met with the state fire marshal's office. I could see that if we were going to maybe do double in fines like you all were proposing to do in 2016 and borrow $15 million or $12.5 million to do that, then I would think the county commission would absolutely need to be involved. When we renovate areas like the Family Justice Center, I can't remember a single resolution that we ran before you all to approve those room designs, drawings, furniture, and all of this stuff. When we redid the Veteran Service Office downstairs to make that more accommodating for a new Veteran Service Officer, I can't remember that coming to the Planning Commission or the County Commission because they're not a major structural change that we're adding more roof or footprint to the jail. Now, I would say, Wayne, that's not a question for me, and I'm not trying to throw our county attorney under the bus, but we'll see about that. That's the sheriff's space is in that building. So if the sheriff is okay with the upfit in that building, I think that we're okay with that, just like when we redid the boilers. I think you all approved the money because it was a fiduciary expense to the county, but you all didn't approve the design or the implementation or the specifications for the boiler. You only had to approve the funding since it was local revenue out of taxes.
So it never went before the Building and Grounds and Personnel Committee?
None of those things that I've talked about have, no.
Does it have to be approved by this body? That's a $300,000 renovation, or almost.
Didn't you say it was from grant funding? Yes. So no, it would, if it's grant funding dedicated to that, the organization that grants the funds would be the one responsible. And because it's interior, you know, like remodeling your office, the office holder would have that responsibility.
We wouldn't have to vote on accepting the grant, though.
You've already accepted the grant funds years ago.
I thought you had.
It's been in the county budget for years. We've been operating on this grant. I think I was awarded this grant in 2020 or 2021, right after COVID. It's been in the county budget. We've carried over from year to year to year.
Anything else? All right, we'll move on. Next item up has been deleted from the agenda. So the next item would be discussion regarding the carbon graphite. Question by the county mayor.
All right, well, I want to quickly talk about the elephant that's been in the county for the last couple of weeks, and I want to say, clear the air right off the bat. Again, I'm going to go to the anonymous accounts that you read on Facebook. Myself or none of your county commission was made aware of the program or any land purchases because we absolutely do not have to be involved in those. Now, if you're talking about a manufacturing facility that comes into the county, there are entities in the county that would have some ability to have those conversations if they wanted to do any TIFs or gifts or pilot programs to offset their cost of setting up shop in Claiborne County. And those questions would need to be looked at either your Industrial Development Board or the Economic Partnership where that entity is housed. So when I found out about it, you all found out at about the same time when the post from a company in UK was shared by Brian O'Brien, 106.3. Thank you, Brian, for being a news advocacy that we need sometimes. I started getting calls from county commissioners. Hey, Mayor, what's going on with this? I don't know. What are you talking about? I look at a Facebook post, I read it. I'm having the last conversation with the county commissioner to sponsor a resolution that's on down the agenda on Friday a week ago. And I was asked the same question, do you know anything about this? I'm being told that you are, or you do. So, true to form, if you know me, I say I'm here to stand on top of my word. So I said I'll put this as a discussion item and we'll air that out. I want people to hear it from my mouth that I don't know anything about it. Now, as I'll say, as a county mayor, I am 100% in favor of good paying jobs in Claiborne County. 100%. I'm not in favor with stuff that comes through in the wink of an eye and we all find out about it, that it's going to be in somebody's backyard. It's going to be in an agricultural area of the county. There's potentially some kind of harmful, hazardous waste to it, and I know we're not talking about making radioactive materials. I've read enough to know that, but I've done enough research to know that refining carbon itself, turning coal into carbon, has its own environmental impacts. And I think if you don't have the wherewithal to address those with the community and have some type of town halls and stuff, before you make an announcement that's going to give 300 good paying jobs, you're already behind the 8 ball. And I feel like there was a lot of due diligence that should have been done on that, and I'm not holding our senator at fault. His job is the same as ours to represent our district. I represent the whole county. Each county commissioner represents their district. They're going to fight for you just like they have with water projects and get everything that good they can for your districts in Claiborne County as a whole. But I want to be clear. Some of you want to know, and that's why you're here today, are you out of the woods? And I can't say yes to that. You may be out of the woods on this project, but you may not be out of the woods on the next project. And I've had a lot of you talk to me and say, Mayor, why didn't you do something to stop this big housing development down there on the lake and stop all this beautiful property and all this other stuff? Why didn't you do something about the data mining center in South Claiborne when that came through? Mayor, why didn't you do something about this over here? I have zero authority in my position to stop anything that comes into this county. In fact, this body has the ability to move in that direction if they so choose. And I'm not saying this, I know it's an election year, I'm not putting pressure on anybody. The simple fact that the way your county operates today is the only oversight this county has on anything is when it goes before the planning commission if it's a subdivision less than 5 acres. So if you've got a 100-acre property that says, I want to give you 4 acres, it's got to come before the planning commission to have a new deed drawn, to have a plat recorded in the registrar's office so that it ensures it connects to a county road, it has public utilities, that you have all the 911 address, the road superintendent has to approve it, the utilities have to approve it. That's the only way that you have any oversight in Claiborne County are subdivisions under 5 acres. Anything else, if it's your property, and we've heard this time and time again, don't tell me what to do with my property. I want to sell my property to somebody, I want to sell my property to somebody. And it never becomes an issue until somebody next to you sells their property and wants to move something in, and then you get blown up about, I don't want all this good agricultural land in Speedwell to become an industrial zone. Why can't we look at something that's going to be in one of our industrial areas that we have already, that's going to have water, the phase 3 electric that's going to be there? Why couldn't there have been a conversation to say, this may be a good company? Why don't we put it in our industrial park over here in Tasman? Why does it have to go where somebody's willing to sell land at? So these are questions that we have, and I know many of you are going to want to talk about it. I just wanted to clear the air for the county's record that I did not know, the county commission did not know, nor is there any recourse for us to know. Now, I will admit, there is one thing that I read that's true on Facebook. I have helped Dollar General and Zaxby's. I have. Because Dollar General called and said, hey, Mayor, we'd really like to look at an area over in Clairfield. Did you know it's got property? Sure I did. Connected them with Marble Valley. They sold the land. That thing is grossing about $1.8 million annually now in sales, and those people no longer have to drive to Millsboro or Devon County. That's a good thing. I think we can all agree to that. Zaxby's, we want something else to eat. But I can assure you that even when I got the call from the folks from Zaxby's, my first call was to the mayor of New Tazewell. The mayor of Tazewell, hey, do you all know of any properties that's available? And we gave them a list of that. That's how the process works. They will call and see, hey, this is what we want to do. This is what we're trying to look at. So that part on Facebook is true. And I'm proud that I've helped with some Dollar Generals around the county and a new Zaxby's. And I hope to continue that work with some more restaurants and some more stuff in the county. So that's my spiel of what I want to say about it. And if anybody's got any questions, now's the time to ask.
Anybody?
My first question is for Gary. You say you didn't know anything about it until it posted on Facebook, correct? So that was the exact way that you found out, was somebody showed you about them. What about the county commissioners? When and how did you all find out?
Saturday on Facebook.
Saturday on Facebook.
For everybody?
Tuesday night at the county, the library board meeting.
Okay, who told you the library?
I don't look up what you're saying about, I'm sorry.
Okay,
It's a citizen.
okay. Why, when people called the county commissioner, were they told that nothing could be done? People were saying that the county commissioners that they spoke to said nothing could be done.
Well, I'm not down in that, so I didn't get any calls about it, okay?
I can't speak to the county commission, but I can speak as the county policies overall, and that's the point that I just made. Anything over 5 acres that you sell, want to record a deed for, it's a done deal. If you sell it to somebody that wants to open up a car lot, then they're going to the state to get that license to open up a car lot.
Okay, then the whole NEPA process. They have to go and get permits, they have to have testing done, correct, all the ecological testing.
Not the county commission.
Not the county commission, but the
County
company.
commission doesn't have any authority on how you control your property, what you do with your property.
Okay, so,
That's the Constitution.
okay, so, I mean, it just seems odd that our senator didn't inform his mayor if he knew about this and it was such a good thing, the mayor of Claiborne County.
Well, I will say that as good as I can have a working relationship with our senator. If you remember, I supported the other senator with the video that I did, and I have apologized to my constituents about that because Senator Seals won overwhelmingly in Claiborne County. But I will say that Senator Seals and I aren't on the phone on a regular basis to talk about, hey, guess what I'm doing, or what do you think about this project? Because Senator Seals does not have to involve me or county commission for anything that's over 5 acres that the state may do.
Well, how do you feel, since there was proof and there's photographs that he posted on his own Facebook page, that he only knew about a 6-minute phone call and he stood there and replied to the whole community's face that?
Well, and I'm comfortable to go on record, and I said this earlier in my office. I think Senator Seals would have done himself a better service had he just owned it on Sunday evening, apologized for the misreading of what Speedwell wanted to have happen, and then took steps to make sure that it didn't happen, because I was there on Sunday. I heard the words out of Senator Seals' mouth. I had read the press release about 100% support for that, and then I also saw the pictures of them meeting in his office back in November. I can't speak to that. I'm just telling you what I would have done had I been in that situation myself. I would have owned it and then tried to work that out the best way possible. As my mother used to tell me, if you tell one lie, you're going to prop it up with another.
I asked Senator Seals about the November picture because I liked that picture. I know Bradley. I did, because I've known Bradley since he was a little boy. I've liked everybody's pictures. Anybody in this room, if you know me, you know I like pictures. And especially with the senator, I think he's doing a great job. His job is to encourage businesses to come here. Like he said at that meeting, he did not even really, to him it was more of a pipe dream. He talks to a lot of people who think about businesses that maybe don't happen. I asked him though about the November thing because I said, I'm in a re-election year. I'm going to get crucified. I remember liking the picture, I remember commenting, and it's gone. And he said, Sherry, I did not take it down. I don't even really know how to take it down. I don't really do a lot of the Facebook stuff. He said, but we've got people investigating, and it looks like it's been taken down because it was reported. My question is, who screenshotted it and then reported it? Why was it taken down? He says he did not. And he's never done anything to make me think that he would lie about it. You know, I've also talked to Bradley Pierman since then. That business wasn't happening tomorrow. It wasn't happening this year. It's still in experiments, but not in Claiborne County. The experiments are not in Claiborne County. They don't even know if it will work. And I agree why they have that address.
I mean, has anybody looked into this company any deeper with the CEO and the other three that were all into pharmaceuticals, only pharmaceuticals up to this point?
I've done the Google search just like all of you have, where they've been in business, he's been in business 2 years here, 2 years here, 2 years here. I asked about that, and they told me that, because I do believe in doing due diligence, I do, that they told me that he's a company starter. He starts companies, and then they make them public, and they sell them. Not sell the company, sell stock. I would qualify probably for Dennis's program. I don't have money. But the way I understand it, he deals in millions of dollars all the time. Does he care if it's Speedwell? No, they've already got another location. This one supposedly will not come to Speedwell. You know, I won't promise it won't because I don't know.
Was there ever a chance in anybody's mind that this was never going to be a thing to begin with? That it was all fly by night, and nobody would know because there was other things going on behind the scenes, and nobody was supposed to know because it wasn't ever going to really be a thing.
Well, I asked Bradley Pierman about that, and Bradley said he's been talking about it all over the place to people. He didn't know it was a secret. That's what he told me. He's been talking to people about it. And I know other people have been talking about it, just not to me. I don't get out.
I mean, this was the Indian guy. I'm not being racist or anything. He has been in other lawsuits because of trying to do the same thing, and people, they wanted their money back because the certain way that these contracts work, you pay so much up front, you have to do the footwork, and you have to get the property, and you have to, but then something comes up where this business can't continue. You get to keep the money up front, and it's just dropped from there on out for that. They may move on somewhere else.
But like I said, I did the research too, and I found the same kinds of things. But I didn't do the research until it blew up on Saturday because I thought it was a pipe dream. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah, my name is James Coyle, and I live in Speedwell, not too far away from where they're planning on putting this thing in. And I understand that we need a lot more jobs in the county, and I'm 1,000,000% for that. It's a very slippery slope and a double-edged sword that you guys are playing with right now, because everybody is up in arms and wanting, okay, stop this, stop this. Well, how do we stop it? Let's implement to where we have to talk to everybody that's up here and make people confer and get permits, and we have to do permits for this and permits for that. Well, that's going to require a bunch of people being hired. Then you're going to have zoning issues forever inside of this area. Once they zone this area to a certain thing, people start moving in, or companies start moving in, or do or don't, or you say, nope, you can't have any kind of industrialization or anything inside of this area. That takes years and years and years to be able to figure out all of the details for that. And if you try to rush in right now to all of these people, like all the stuff I was watching on Facebook, and have them, okay, well, we need to implement this now so nothing else can come into this county, then you're opening up a lot of loopholes that are going to be very hard to close in the future. I'm also an IRC inspector, and
not having inspections out here, it blows my mind. But you can pretty much do anything you want, build anything you want, in any way that you want. If you like that, and you like that freedom with your property, with the place that you buy, that's the reason you bought here. Be very, very careful of what you put in front of all these people and tell them that you want. Research it yourself meticulously to find the fine words inside of it to make sure that in 5, 10 years or whatever it is, that you're not shooting your own legs off or shooting the feet off of your kids or your grandkids, because it's very easy to do. I've seen it happen several times. I mean, here I am, I'm living here, an IRC inspector, general contractor, and there's no codes, there's no inspections. So a lot of people love it, but you get really subpar houses from that. You get tons of electrical problems, you get house fires, you get people dying because of faulty products. So everybody wants to make those regulations. With those regulations come costs. With the costs come more people to take care of it. With those people come more taxes because you need to pay for those people. Though not just this one instance inside of Speedwell. Pay attention to every single issue that's going on, because once you do the voting for it, you're done. All the situations should be looked at as closely and as scrutinized and gone after. Should have this much public knowledge as this thing is speaking.
We have someone back here. Come on up.
My name is Tad Russell. I'm from the town district agent. And I just want to make, in no way are anybody in District 8 that I have talked to are they against 300 good jobs coming to this county. The number one concern they have is that the people, this is a heavily populated area where that was at, within a mile of a school. I was speaking with Commissioner Roger and Monday, Sunday, when we come out of the meeting. You could physically see the farm from Powell Valley School, where that's going when we come out of the meeting. I just have a question that is really for the county attorney. Is there any way that you could do some research on this company? I mean, it looks like a scam to me. I've been blessed in my career to be in big business, but it looks like just another scam to me. But is there any way you could research this to ensure the citizens of my district that it's gone?
No. No.
Thank you for answering that.
Other than what they say, I wouldn't have any way, or call them, and they've already announced it, so I don't know, there's no location where you have to register your intentions. There's nothing with the state that they filed that they would come. There's nothing that they would file that they're not coming. So I'm sorry. If you were aware of some way, I'd be glad to try it.
Okay.
But I'm not aware of anything I could do other than their public announcement.
Okay.
And I would just be repeating what they say.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yes, ma'am.
Dave, you know, you're a farmer. That area in Speedwell has primarily been farming ever since I can remember, even back to when my grandfather was a baby there, back in 1894. That's where he was born and raised. His parents before that. It's been a farming community for as long as I know it. I don't want it to change. Because if you don't have farms, you don't have food. You know that, Quentin? You know that, David? That I want to save our farming communities. Yeah, we need more businesses here and more job opportunities, but we also need food. Because if we don't have a farming community in any state, whether it be in Tennessee, Virginia, Kentucky, wherever, if you don't got farms, you don't have food. That's just a simple statement. And even the president himself knows that. He's even stated that on TV in his State of the Union. If you don't have farms, he wants our children and everybody else in this country to have healthier food. Where do you get healthier food? From farms that don't put all these hormones and antibiotics in their cattle, and they don't have all this poison put on their vegetables and fruits. David, you know that. Quentin, you know that. And I know you do. And I know that that property that was being spoke of used to belong to David's father-in-law, which is also my family. I don't want to see that valley get ruined with pollution, traffic. That highway's already ruining it, especially the beautiful landscapes, because it's a destructive mess. You all know that. If you drive down Powell Valley to La Follette, it's a destructive mess. Vic knows that. His driveway's been affected.
Oh, yeah.
What are they going to do to fix that road? I've asked Jesse that myself. Are they going to fix that? Because did they not say that company went out of business? They went belly up and bankrupt? That was fixing that road? Is that not what we said, Quentin? Well, Rogers Group took that contract and they subcontracted out. That company went out of business. Now the citizens are having to deal with that mess. And I don't like it. I don't have to like it. Nobody has to like it. But on a state level, they need to fix these issues. I know that you all can't do anything. But the state needs to figure out these issues for themselves. Because they're creating these issues for us. And I don't know if y'all agree, but that's what happened. That announcement came, then we got all these issues in this county because of one stupid post on Facebook about one stupid company. And yes, Mr. Spurlock, I know you supported it. I don't, because I don't want to see our farming communities ruined. Because I grew up, I was in everybody. I don't want to see our farming communities. I've seen enough of it. Like I said, I'm Gen X. I usually keep my mouth shut and stay out of politics, and I vote. But this right here, I have an issue with. My child has an issue with it because she grew up in that valley. She don't like seeing the valley get destroyed with the roadways. If it's going to get fixed, it might not be in my lifetime. It may not be in any of our lifetimes. With the way Rogers Group is running their program. That's all I've got to say. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Overlook me, if you will, I don't speak real well. The reason I got involved with this, and mind you, I like farmers and farms. There's near 300 children, faculty and staff that work at that school. And to me, I don't know how any of y'all feel, but them children is way more important.
Yes.
Than roads.
Yes.
Than polluting companies coming in there. And I just felt like I had to say that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
One little question.
So my name's Garrett Dawson. I'm in District 6 in Harrogate. And I believe, and I want to make it very clear, I'm speaking only for myself, I don't speak for anyone else here. I do believe, and I'm not one to come with just problems and not have a solution, but I do believe we're in a bit of a catch-22. And I think what this boils down to is trust. I think it's a lack of trust that the citizens have for a couple of different things. Mayor Brooks, you spoke of the zoning. Was that the Powers Act? Or was that something different?
So there were two instances. The state legislatures enacted the County Powers Act for any counties that did not have zoning in place, so where they could open up the County Powers Act to regulate one-off problems. So several years ago, this body by 21-0 had asked the Planning Commission to do something around tiny homes, campers, and RVs in the county. When they prepared that document some 8 months later, we realized that Claiborne County had never passed the County Powers Act, which is what is required before they could pass that regulation that the Planning Commission had wrote. They're not the same. but they are kind of mutually inclusive of one another.
I just couldn't remember, it's been a while. I do believe, again, going back to the trust issue, back when the zoning came up, I believe, just my humble opinion, that it was the lack of trust from the citizens to this body, to the government, to the county government, of trusting what happens in certain areas of the county. I will say that certain areas of the county, you brought up around schools, agricultural areas, rural areas, some sort of preservation act in around those areas if that's possible. The other thing was, I feel like most of us, I know I did Sunday night, we felt like we were lied to. And it was pretty cut and dry. That did not help with any of this whatsoever. The other issues were, not only did schools get brought up, but one of our largest food production facilities, which is the dairy, was also within a mile of that. So there's many concerns. Again, I'm not one to really come with just problems and not solutions. But again, I really think it boils down to just pure trust. And we are in a catch-22 with this. Because yes, we don't want to be told what we can or can't do with our land. I mean, that's the American spirit. We're in Southern Appalachia, where a lot of us are Scots-Irish descent, and there's a lot of that blood still running through us that, no, don't mess with us. You leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. However, situations like this come up, we don't have anything to really stand on. So again, catch-22, don't really know what that helped, but I do believe that may be a slight explanation of the outrage. I do want to add that I am incredibly proud of how quickly citizens pulled together and united literally overnight. Most of us found out the night before, some of us that day, some of us knew beforehand that I found it. But we came together very quickly, and I am proud to be a Claiborne County citizen at that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I think Shane says he's got a question, Mr. Chairman.
A company like that coming into the county, they have to submit to the state first, correct?
I'm not aware of where they have to submit from. I know that they would have to pull permits, a SWIP permit if they move 5 acres or more dirt through TDEC. I'm sure they would have to do some environmental studies, impact studies, but that's all through TDEC. But I'm not aware of any entity that says I want to come to the state of Tennessee. County attorney is agreeing, I think, that they've got to disclose that to the state.
No.
Right. And I will say something about the trust. I know it's a lot to put trust into 21 individuals, 2 of which only live in your district. And it is a lot when we were talking about the campers, tiny homes, and the RVs and stuff that are kind of dotting all over the place now, and most of those people are trying to live off the grid with no septic. And we've had issues of those getting just put down the hill on somebody else's property or into a creek. And that was the intent of trying to do that, to take care of that problem. So as much as it is to say that I don't trust County Commission to adopt the County Powers Act, the County Powers Act is just a door to open. The trust comes when you want to do anything with regards to campgrounds or tiny homes or RV parks, because that requires a 2/3 vote of this body to say they agree with that. That's 14 of 21 individuals up here that are your neighbors, brothers, sisters, fathers, mothers, to do the right thing for the county. And those are not intended to be brought up as doing harm, and the county attorney can tell you that no matter what this body enacts, it can't be enacted to do something yesterday. It only impacts everything that moves forward from that day forward. So if they did pass something that was in the County Powers Act to say that we want to do something about the tiny homes and RV parks and all that other stuff that are not in the county, anything that's already in place would remain that way. It's only the ones that come in after that. So I want to be clear that when you talk about this stuff, and it was said earlier with regards to capping the property tax, you can't look at today, you've got to look at what that impact is 5 years, 10 years down the road. And I know it's hard for any of us to sit here and say that I want to limit my rights of what I can do with my property. until somebody moves in next to you, there's absolutely nothing you can do about saving your property. And I think that's the hard conversation that all of us at the county have to have, is what are we willing to give up to make sure that you can keep all of Powell Valley farming and agricultural community. All of your industrial sites would be your industrial sites. And if there aren't some type of protections that are put in place, and the narrative of Claiborne County citizens writes its narrative of what they want their communities to be, then there's not going to be a guide for anybody to follow. And I will say, most of you know this from the news, Tennessee is the most business-friendly state in the country. Do you know what? We're the least regulated state in the country. So they come here and they can do what they want to do. They can buy a 100-acre property in the middle of the farming community. And luckily you all stood true, and thank you all for coming and showing up. It showed great effort of the citizen movement and grassroots movement to do that. That may not work every time. So you have to ask yourself, and pray about it and think about it, what's the best avenue for the county moving forward? And it's a really tough decision. I don't want anybody to tell me what to do with my property. But I don't want you to come in and put a junkyard next to it or a pig farm. So you've got to live on both sides of that sword. It's a double-edged sword, but we're going to have to figure out how we want to move forward as a county, and that's some tough conversations to have.
Can we keep the valley agricultural area?
So I think I just tried to answer that. As currently, we will hope and pray that it stays that way, but there is no absolute guarantee that it will stay that way.
So about adopting a Powers Act, because there's a whole lot more to the Powers Act other than the zoning, and we all learn that. What kind of bills, acts, what can we do as a community, as people, to move forward and get something written in for this people community?
So I was not going to talk at Senator Seals' event down there because it's not my event, but I was asked a pointed question after everything was over. The county cannot simply say that we want to adopt zoning for commercial entities only. You just can't. It's legally unpermissible. You either want to talk about zoning across the whole county, or you don't talk about zoning at all. Now, the County Powers Act is not going to say I adopt the County Powers Act, and then you want to limit and say this can only be agricultural. That's not the intent of the County Powers Act. County Powers Act is intended to identify nuisances within the county. So if you talk about trash dumps, people moving in and they're putting tires up in the woods, junk cars now have trees growing in them, those are things that you can do with the County Powers Act because it's a nuisance.
And it's things that come in after it's adopted.
That's correct. After it's adopted, that's when it starts.
Can it be amended to take away or add to all the subparts of that act?
So I would say the only thing that you would amend is just the simple ordinance itself. So if the County Powers Act was put in place by a majority vote, and 2/3 of them said we want to make sure that there's no, and I'll use this as an example, junkyards that come up unless they're regulated to where they have to have a setback of 20 feet or 50 feet, they have to have a fence around them. I'm sure that if it become a problem for anybody to have them, that the county commission by 2/3 vote could amend that if they wanted to. There's nothing that's set in stone that once they pass something that's that way concrete. We've seen that tonight with regards to giving the discounts for the senior citizens because it used to be 50. Now they've raised it to 100. If the next county commission comes in and they say, you know what, we just want to do away with it altogether, they can do that. But it takes a majority of this body to do that.
That's why the County Powers Act failed last time, right? We wanted guidelines before we passed the Powers Act, and that was not possible to do.
That's unfortunately correct.
Yeah.
Because the County Powers Act allows you to adopt nuisance ordinances after the fact. You don't know what those are.
Yeah.
Now, you could have said that meeting, if you passed the County Powers Act, you could have said, we're going to go ahead and adopt this that the Planning Commission worked on for tiny homes and RV parks. If that had been by 2/3, then you would have been narrow in scope. You would have known what you would have done. But it would also allow for somebody else to bring up the idea of junkyards or overgrown properties and all that other stuff, and if 14 people voted for that, then that would be an enacted ordinance. And I get the fear that everybody has with regards to that. But again, we're talking about future occurrences of everything happening. So what happened in Speedwell a couple weeks ago, luckily we've heard an announcement it's not coming. We hope it doesn't come. But there's nothing to say that it can't come down the road. We can't predict the future of that.
So the Powers Act is basically a nuisance. It has nothing to do with like a company.
That's correct. That's correct.
So this commission, if they can't pass just a county zoning just for businesses, we can't do that legally.
It's all or none. You can't say I want to pass zoning just for commercial, residential, or whatever.
That would be considered discrimination situation if you just pick one item, one area, one type of property, and you're prohibited from doing that. It would have to be residential, industrial, commercial type zone outside the city limits. You couldn't affect incorporated areas.
Mr. Eastep, can I ask you a question, please? Zone specific areas or apply regulations to only parts of the county rather than county-wide. Can you address that, please?
No, I'm not aware of that. I'd have to read it.
Okay. It says, this often involves planning commissions developing plans for distinct regions which must be approved by the county legislative body, the 2/3 that you were mentioning, Mr. Mayor, but said municipalities can, in some cases, exercise zoning control over areas outside their boundaries that have no existing county zoning, which is a form of limited zoning. I understand that. Let me continue. If a county wishes to zone only a portion of its territory or a different area than recommended by a planning commission, it must follow specific procedural steps, including potential approval by the 2/3 majority. Zoning plans can be created for specific limited areas of a county, such as, which is what Speedwell is, unincorporated areas near a city or specific land use types. Again, that is TCA 13-7-101. Would you just at some point visit that, take a look at it, and maybe get back to this body? Because that is... Yes, please.
What's the section?
TCA 13-7-101. It's been applied in other parts of the state, especially in and around the outskirts of Nashville that are deemed county.
My first knee-jerk reaction about that is your regional planning commission develops what is known as an area growth plan. Mm-hmm. And those are done around boundaries of municipal areas. Harrogate is certainly one of those, and I don't know, Brian, if that's what you're talking about till we research it. If it's something that's permissible and that's what this body wants to do, I'm all for it. But I think since you mentioned the planning commission in it, is that you're talking about your urban growth plan. Right. And that would ensure infrastructure, roads, water, sewer, electric, and all the utilities in it before those areas can be developed. Now, I may be wrong.
But wouldn't an unincorporated area be exempt from that due to it being unincorporated?
What, is there a section of that you're reading? Because what I'm reading, it says the county legislative body of any county, I'll cut myself off. What I'm reading, A1, 13-7-101, says the county legislative body of any county is empowered in accordance with the condition and the procedures specified in this part to regulate in the portions of such county which lie outside of municipal corporations the location, height, and size of buildings and other structures. That's what's adjoining the towns, so that they would be consistent in those unincorporated areas directly adjacent to the cities. And by that, they could regulate the location, height, size of buildings. We adopt a 10-year plan, regional zoning plan every year, every 10 years, sorry, that we've been doing that has that area adjacent to the city limits
I
that we
understand.
can regulate. This is not, wouldn't apply, doesn't appear to apply to the Speedwell community.
But even if you did, you're still starting zone. So even if you,
Well, I guess what I was, and I know I'm just a participant here when it comes to audience, when the mayor used the terms all or none, for the lack of a better phrase, this TCA code says something a little different. It could be interpreted differently.
And I would need to research that, Brian, obviously.
And this, I'm not a lawyer, just letting you know.
As with Jimmy, and I don't want to talk out both sides of my face, I do believe, though, what you're referring to is an urban growth plan, which is a boundary plan around incorporated areas that are in the county. Now, Jimmy's going to research that, and we can get back to you all next month and do a little report if you want it in your packets so that they know, and we can nail that out.
Thank you.
I'll be glad to look at it.
How do cities, how do they enforce their zoning for just certain things?
They hire a person.
A person to do that? I mean, can't we hire somebody or
We do it, code enforcement.
for the county? Like just for one certain thing, or does it have to be all?
Well, it would be all your zoning code, is what it would, he or she would enforce.
Okay, anyone else?
I do have one more real quick thing I want to walk up there. So what this looks like is we're asking for something to be done. So if that is the case, then we, all of us, and when I'm pointing my finger, I'm pointing three back at myself, we have to be involved. We have to stay on top of this because we have to keep this body accountable to us. Okay? So when things like this come up, we need to see attendance like this. We need to be communicating with our commissioners, telling them exactly what we want so that we don't feel surprised. We don't feel like we've been lied to. We don't feel like that the next time. So I just want to say that. And again, I'm talking to myself specifically too. I have to be involved as well.
But to respond to that, I hope he doesn't think that he's been lied to here because we had no knowledge of what was going on. We had no authority to interact and affect what's happened. And we always have public meetings monthly and with a published agenda, and everybody's welcome always to attend. So I think you're as open as any agency in government I've ever seen. And people are well represented by having 21 commissioners, 2 or 3 from each district, 1 in one district. And we're fortunate, 2 in some districts. We're fortunate to have you all represent us.
Do districts have one?
And I just want to clarify something. The line reference was from the senator, not necessarily this body. However, our reaction as citizens for the last time the Powers Act or zoning came back up was very resistant because we did not trust, or I did not. So just to clarify that, the line reference was to that Sunday night and what came out of Senator Steele's mouth.
So just so I'm clear, farming land, it's great to have farming land. I have a family farm in La Follette, and I love my family farm, and I don't want to see it sold for anything. But when people die off, family land is sold. Are you saying it can't be subdivisions, or are you just saying it can't be a business that comes in that does something bad? You know, because people, like Hickory Corner, the way it came in, that's great. I go down there all the time, I love it. But are you saying you don't want other businesses like that? So it's okay to have businesses, even if it's a farmland. I'm just trying to make sure I do understand.
We want agricultural businesses.
So no more Dollar Generals?
No, I mean, yes, but we don't want.
I just feel like that land's gonna sell for something And he has the right to sell it.
We don't want nuclear stuff. We got to put poison in our water and protect our children. Well, there's some people may be for it.
Please use the microphone.
Had knowledge of this beforehand. Most people knew about it on the Saturday night, but some people knew about it Tuesday instead, right? Okay, so you might have known about it, but everyone else in here knew about it Saturday. Okay, businesses is great. We can use the job, that's great. But we don't want our soil, or water, or air. We don't want any of that affected. Not for us, not for our children, not for our grandchildren. Some people may want that. Some people may support that. Some people might not think that Senator Seals lied the whole time. But he did. And we all, as half-hour, we all agreed that that is what he did. You may not think so, but everyone else.
Well, and I will stand behind the fact that I do not want that in my area. If it's doing the stuff that everybody said, I would not want that.
I mean, I'm not, I don't know a lot of things, but it is.
The process is different than what you see on Google. I don't know.
It may be different than what they do at China, but it's still, you have to heat things up to really high. Who was it that spoke? Kenny Rogers. He spoke, he knew about it because he worked at Oak Ridge.
Right.
There's this other guy that, Puzzles, he spoke. He had black on because of it, because he worked down at Oak Ridge. So they knew more stuff about it than not me. Like, I don't, I'm not really that smart on a lot of things.
Work at Oak Ridge.
And I grew up right up the road from the steam plant.
Well, yeah. So we don't want that kind of stuff, you know?
My dad worked at Oak Ridge forever, and he passed away partly from working at Oak Ridge, so I definitely am not for it. But I just want to make sure I understand what your plan is, because farmland is probably not going to stay farmland. You know, whenever next year, people can't afford to buy farmland.
How you gonna feed the country?
I know, I agree with you. I agree with you. I'm just saying farmers can't be made to sell your
property.
It seems like you're more pro than against. Maybe that's just, you're pro this country.
No.
That's how I feel about it. I mean, I'm not the only one that feels
I don't even know anything about the company. That was my whole point. I don't know anything about the company.
Okay, wait just a
The
second.
company's over.
I'm recognizing the gentleman in the back. Please come up.
My name's Tom Chattel. In relation to land and stuff used here in this county in the past, I've had to do 6 lawsuits in this county. And it takes a lot to go through this process, guys. And with this, I'm telling you, you're going to average at least, personally, out of my pocket, $25,000 a shot, okay? Right now, this is, if you don't start a lawsuit right now and try to get an injunction to stop this will try to roll on through. Okay? I'm just telling you from personal experience. And with this, I probably expect some visits from other places, but that's fine too. But I'm telling you right now, the only way you're probably going to get this stopped is with a lawsuit. And I'm saying probably it's going to have to go out of the county courthouse steps from the county judge to the district level, because that's where I've got my stuff stopped, okay? And I'm just telling you back, somebody that's filed lawsuits after lawsuits after lawsuits. Okay? And if you all want to see the mistakes that I made in petitions where they say you have to have a residential person's on the deed sign the petition to make it all lawful and stuff, there's things that have to be done in a sequence. And you have to be a landowner here in the county. Your name has to be on that deed certificate. But if you don't follow these steps, they could very well slip this in on you. And I live down there near Speedwell, Tennessee, down there at Hickory Farms, okay? I just want to let you all know that can be done. And I'm just saying, from a lawsuit level, I've been there about 5 or 6 times already.
Okay. Anybody else? Yes, sir. Please come in.
I've been correct. I understand the farms is down the valley. And I believe when the younger generation comes up, they might not want to build them farms. You know, they're going to get sold for subdivisions and stuff. But work to be put into Campbell County, or Claiborne County,
be like a Walmart distributing center, something that people can work in, that don't have the education to be working in a nuclear plant or something. Put people to work and bring money into the county. The 4 lanes coming up through the valley, and that's excess. There's a lot of different stuff to come through this county. But we need jobs that Claiborne County can work in, and other counties would come in and spend their money here in Claiborne County and be able to work and make a living.
Go ahead.
May I speak? You know, we do have the park, Shelburne Gas National Park, Heritage, Middlesboro, and Virginia. Do you want to ruin that environment as well with that place in Richmond? I mean, I don't want the kids to end up sick. I don't want the farms to go away. But if that place were to come in, it'll ruin the park. And that's just simply statement.
Anyone else? Yes, ma'am, can you please come up?
How largely?
The lady's got the floor, please.
My name is Deborah Jesse, and I live down in the valley. And I just have so many concerns about what was being said tonight. I don't understand how someone can know about Zaxby's and Dollar General and not know about something that has to do with nuclear. And I'm not blaming, I don't understand. I'm confused. I don't understand how we have such a beautiful, God-given country and how we have all these farmers and how we can't hold on to our heritage, how we can't hold on, how we can't find grants that will help us to hold on to our heritage. You have Oak Ridge that has empty buildings that can do this stuff, and it's only 300 jobs. We act like it's a gazillion. It's not. It's 300 jobs. We have farms that need those 300 people working on those farms, and we need grant money to hire people, as people have said, to have groceries on the table. We don't need it. When something comes out and says there is nuclear involved, and we're like, well, that's okay. No. It's like saying I'm going to set a gas can here. It's okay. If I set a gas can here right now, people would go, why is that gas can there? What are they going to do with that gas can? That's the truth of it. And so nuclear can do energy, and it can do weapons. And that's just the start of it. And so the secondary thing is, okay, what was going to do with it? But the first thing is it's nuclear. And it was going to be by a school. And I don't understand. It seems like we're almost being punished for not allowing zoning. And so it's almost like, I don't want to say we're being conned into being zoned and micromanaged, but it's like, well, since you didn't agree with being micromanaged and zoned before, therefore, now we can have a free-for-all. It doesn't, and I'm sorry, it doesn't make sense. These are people's lives. It's their livelihood. It's food on the table for graphite, or, as some people have said, something else is coming, something else is coming, something else is coming. Why is something else coming? We have farms. We can grow food. We can have cattle. Why is something else coming when we have an amazing opportunity here? Because grants aren't coming, because we have cows or farmland, so we don't get grants, we're not worthy. There was something else said about elderly people, 65 and older, so we don't have money to hire to help these people, but we have money to renovate other things, but we don't have money to help renovate dairy farms and cattle farms. Help me to understand what's going on with our community. We are Appalachia? How come we don't have heritage grants to help preserve the life and heritage that we have here? These farms that people have been in their family for years after years after years, and now we can't hold on to them because once you allow something else like this to come in, you're right. Nobody's going to be able to afford the land locally. It's all going to go to other people who can afford it. You're going to push the people out, just like what happened in Hawaii. A lot of those people can't afford to live there anymore. Their own people who were raised there and their own heritage was lost to money. Money, not food, not bettering their area, but money. We're losing money to help our elderly. And I'm sorry, I'm a Christian. Well, I'm not sorry. I'm a Christian. And as a Christian, I don't know how many people in here are, I believe our nation was founded on Christianity. In all honesty, I believe that's what should be taught in our public schools because our nation was founded on it. So how come our public schools are not founded on it? I don't know. We spend so much money on textbooks about the world being millions and billions of years old, and then we tell a kid that they're wrong if they say it's only 7,000 years old. And we're spending all this money on textbooks and trying to have this meshing pot of convoluted, I don't even know. But I do know, and this may be a little deep, but one day we will meet our Maker. And so we need to decide not about who's going to be voted in a couple of years from now or who's doing political suicide, but who's doing the work of God. And this is His land. I thought this was the Bible Belt. That's what I think it is. And so I do think we need to stand up for God. In God we trust. And His land and what He wants. And nuclear stuff, I was in it in the military. If I put a gas can right here, just walked in this building with a gas can and set it right here, everybody in here would be a little uncomfortable. They've all been around gas. They put it in their car. They put it in their lawnmowers. But if I walked in here with a gas can, everybody in here would be uncomfortable. But we don't understand why the people down in Speedwell were uncomfortable when they heard about the potential of a nuclear thing coming in their area right by their school with their children. So I'm not blaming, I'm not accusing, I'm confused. So you all were hired, voted in, and you get a smidge of a paycheck of the taxpaying dollars to help us to understand and preserve our community. Not kick the can. That's zoning, that's this, that's that, you gotta talk to Fred, Barney, Jack, or Jim. No, we need you to help preserve our land. Our land, our community is a farming, agricultural community. It's not that we don't want businesses. We do. We want help. We want help. We love our little Dollar Generals. We love our mom and pop stores. We probably prefer our mom and pop stores over our Dollar Generals, but we'll take what we can get. Well, I'm sure we'll like Zaxby's, but we don't want nuclear. There are things we don't want. Why can't we say we don't want it? And I get it. What you do on your property is what you do on your property. We're all big about, we don't even know identities nowadays. It's sad. But if what you're doing on your property is an eyesore, you have an old car there that somebody in your family used to have, and nobody likes to see it when they drive down the road, get over it. But when you're doing something on your property that can cause health problems to other people, you gotta be kidding me. This is a no-brainer. We should all have been up in arms about this. All of us. And then come to find out it's probably a scam, maybe, I don't know. But it's opening the doors to other things. Personally, we need to unite as Claiborne County, and we need to stand up for our agriculture, for our farmers, for our children, with God. And that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Please come up.
Make a motion to oppose it. And vote. It doesn't carry any weight, so it's obligatory.
I wasn't going to speak tonight. But there's just some stuff I'm not going to let slide. And you can sit up there and say what you want. This was a mile out my front door. And you're not going to tell me that this wasn't a secret. You're not going to sit here and tell me that this was freely talked about by Mr. Pearman, but nobody knew. And I believe that if this could have been snuck in on us and permits filed, they would have done it. Or people wouldn't be getting threats. And people are getting threats. We're not reporting it, but we're getting threats. Why so many people mad? Why was this such a great dream that you had to drop it by a school in the middle of a farming community? I don't believe that individuals sitting before me didn't know about this. Collectively,
well, I sure did, and I don't appreciate you saying that I did, because I did not know about it.
I'm not saying anybody specifically, but I don't believe that there weren't certain people that didn't know about this. And I'm not going to sit back there and keep my mouth shut, because honestly, I couldn't have sold my property if I had wanted to, if this had to come in. I'd have had to sit there and get sick with everybody else. So if this was just so highly talked about, freely talked about, I just don't believe that. I don't believe this wasn't going to be a secret. I think that we were in a good position to be taken advantage of, and they thought they could, but they could not this time. This time. I do believe that more things will come. I do believe this. And I don't know what to do about it. But as far as us trusting, and you're hoping that we do, we don't. And I just want to say that. The senator just lied too many times for this not to be a secret. Pictures disappeared off of an official website. 6-minute phone call so clear it's like everybody was in the room. Because they were. So why lie? If this was a pipe dream, if this wasn't coming to fruition, why lie? Why? Why the lies? Why the secrecy? You don't talk about something this big moving into an area freely and it not get around. And it didn't get around. Or we wouldn't have all found out the way we did. So no, I don't trust you. That's it, I don't trust you. And I'm glad some of you are up for re-election.
Anyone else?
What was your name, ma'am?
Brandy.
Who?
Brandy. BRANDY SWEAT.
I believe before I come up here and accuse commissioners of knowing about it, not knowing about it, I believe I'd have at least some proof.
I have speculation, and that's all I need from where I live.
Because you want to speak. Listen, I know the buyer was, I know Brad Pierce, a friend of mine. I know who sold the property, friends of mine. I didn't know about it till that Sunday.
Well, I thought that.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I called him, he didn't know anything about it.
I'm not saying y'all shared information with each other. I just feel like for it to be like that, that somebody up there had to know.
Well,
They might have kept it to
speak for everybody
themselves. And you can speak on that now that you didn't know. And if you didn't know, you should speak up. Because us back here in the community within a mile or
in a few miles, we would like for that to be on record, saying who knew and who didn't. So maybe you all should speak and say you didn't know, personally. I put it on record. When I found out was Tuesday night, I will not say who told me, but I found out Tuesday night. I tried to research it a little bit, not due diligence like I should have. But I am being honest, I did not know anything about it. You quoted me because I did say Bradley told me he was out in the valley telling people. That's what he told me Sunday night after the meeting when he called me. I don't know, did not know anything else about it. I was told it was not even nuclear, that it's something they make, that they stick on the end of something that makes something nuclear. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm arguing about, except to say I did not know about it. And it really does bother me, just like the other commissioners, that people don't trust us. You know, my name matters to me, and I put a lot behind my name, and I have 8 grandchildren, I would not bring anything into Claiborne County, even in Tazewell or New Tazewell away from me, Clairfield. I wouldn't if it was dangerous. None of us would. I can honestly say that. And something else may come in tomorrow, but they don't have to. The mayor's told you, and he and I don't always agree, but he's told you he doesn't know about everything coming in. The Bitcoin mining, we did not know about that. I thought Bitcoin mining meant they dug in the ground. You know, I didn't know about it.
Let me say, have I got one more question and I'll shut up. I just thought so. I would be very, very interested to know if the industrial board and the Chamber of Commerce knew about this. I would be very, very interested.
I would say as a county commissioner that allocates funding for those 2 organizations that you call them and ask them. That's all you can do. That's all I can do. That's all any of you can do is pick them up because you allocate tax funds to both of those entities. Now, I say that loosely. The Industrial Development Board is a quasi-governmental entity. They buy properties on behalf of the county to bring in industrial areas and stuff. Properties they own, they can rent that out, lease that. We've gone through that, what was that, about 5 years ago with the rubbing heads with those folks. So their funds are no longer in the county, so you have no oversight on any funds that they have. But you do over the chamber and the rest of that. But that's up to you, Steve, to ask, hey, I'd like to see your budget. Where does that hotel tax go? What are you doing with that extra $25,000 that you didn't even budget last year, but you got in excess of what you were budgeting?
I called the chamber, Steve, and they said they did not know anything at all about it. And I questioned because Karen Clark had liked that same stupid picture I liked in November. And she swore she liked it for the same reason I did. It was a local person meeting with a senator. She knew nothing about it.
Let's say you did know. There's nothing you could do if you did know ahead of time. So what's the big deal? You didn't know.
Well,
you said you didn't know. If you did know, what were you going to do? Nothing.
Look, you're exactly right, Wayne. You're exactly right. We can't. The only thing that you can do is just like the people done, is come out against it. But here's the deal. We could have done something as a body saying, you know, we could sit here and had a vote if we wanted to support that coming in here or not. You know, but just like the lady said, you know, she said she didn't understand. I don't understand how that happened. You know, we got a county mayor sitting there, and regardless who sits in that seat, if you got something like that coming into this county, and the county mayor don't know about it, folks, something's wrong.
Amen.
Something's wrong.
Something very shady today.
And I will say, and I don't take exception. I know after being in politics now for 8 years, it takes one decision or one conversation to lose trust. That's all it is. Politics are fickle. We see it on the federal level, on the state level. We're even seeing it right now on the local level. But I can assure you that I am not in any pictures from November December, January, February with Senator Seals or anybody that brought this in. And when I say I did not know until I went down to Alabama to learn about it like the rest of you all did.
But Mr. Seals knows.
Obviously.
I guarantee you one thing. Those two gentlemen sitting right there, if they knew about this, they would have had something coming in front of the county commission. Maybe it's been a discussion, maybe anything. But if they didn't know about it, and I know them two were pretty good, hey, don't think they wouldn't have had something, at least discussion, if not a resolution drawn up for us to vote on, not support. I can promise you that. I mean, I know them too good. And I know the rest of this county division, they're probably 21-0. But now, you know, to think that we are trying, I mean, like I said, I don't understand how that can happen. But by that it happened. And I don't want to see it happen again.
Yes, sir.
I promise this is my last time up here. I'm glad we've had this discussion tonight. I do want to clarify one thing, though, and Sherry, the statement you made just a minute ago about subdivisions coming in and taking over farmland, things like that's inevitable. I understand that. Some of it will happen. However, I do believe there's still a misconception that the majority of farmland is still under the management of boomers and Gen X's. Yes, Gen X's are still there. However, I know for a fact thousands of acres of farmland are actively managed, whether through lease or through ownership, by millennials. And we're still kicking, you know, and hopefully we have another 35, 40 years in us.
I hope so too.
So, and I'll tell you this, every single person in my age group, when we have this conversation about what we're doing right now, and this goes for the boomers and the X's too, because we have it for a reason right now. But our reason is not just to produce, but it's to have something to give, to pass down. Now, we know that not all of our children will do that, but some of them will. And that is the only thing that keeps this living. And it is a slippery slope when we get government involved in anything. I know that. But don't count us out, because the millennials are here. We are working. And I think we're doing a pretty fine job of it. So that's all I've got tonight. Thank y'all.
Okay, anybody else? Yes, sir.
Brother Hager, most of you know me. I moved back here because Claiborne County is Claiborne County. I've lived all over the world. Zoning is not the answer. Zoning is the biggest double-edged sword you've ever seen. Tennessee has import level number 5 and number 7 in the nation of people coming in to Tennessee. It's not coming in Claiborne County right now, but it will. And we have to plan for it. And all it takes, somebody from one of these California states come in and they start complaining about living next to a park. They don't like the smell. They don't like the pigs. They don't like the cars. They don't like the tractors. They don't like the noise. They don't like the fertilizer going on the ground. They don't like the spray going on the products. But zoning is not the answer. It takes the community. And some people did a good job, even though I don't agree with how it was done. Because I think it was done kind of hostile. And on Senator Sills, he does work for Claiborne County. I can tell you the $1 million grant they just got for the schools, it was him that got My wife was out today, putting in equipment in Midway School. And it's coming to every school in Claiborne County. School. We would have never got that. I'm telling you, it came down to 2 locations. And we took a phone call from Senator Sutton. He's the one who got that. And I understand people go up to Nashville all the time to see him, and you gotta make an appointment, and he's on the phone constantly. But politics is politics. I trust every one of these guys. They don't know everything. You can't expect them to. The county mayor can't know everything. And if you sat in a chair, you wouldn't know everything. I guarantee you. I've been involved in politics locally for 26 years. I'm telling you. I've been in the military for 20 years. Claiborne County is the best place. I lived in the places from it. I lived in Atlanta, I lived in Hawaii, I lived in Arizona. I tell you, you don't go to these places where they tell you, you can't paint your house this way. You can't build a fence from the front of your house backwards. You can't have 2 cars sitting in your driveway. You know, and once you open that door to zoning, you can't close it. Because these people change every 4 years. So that's all I got. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for what you do.
Someone else? Anything else we need to do? If not, we're going to take a 10-minute break.
Folks, I realize that the majority of you may move on. There are still, let's see, there's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items on the agenda if you want to stick around. I'm Brian on 106.3 FM, the big one.
be, but I'm not anymore. You know, my dad had the first house down here. See you, brother. Thank you. I'm not running. No, you didn't. I'm not the city mayor. Now, you know I'm not getting out of politics. That's the city mayor. Oh, what county? That's not this building. 28. That's what I thought. Yeah. You know I ain't gonna stay out of politics. No. Now we'll be 5 minutes ago. Well, no, we ain't really started this. But thank you.
Did you appreciate that or abstain from it? Who knows? Let's get them all. Get them all. Okay, all right. Okay, ready to get back started. All right, next item up, resolution number 20, Board of Education budget amendment. Mr. Mundy.
Mr. Chairman, this is no new money. It's transferring around from the school nutrition budget. They're just transferring or adding some money to it, transferring it around. I'll make a motion for the budget.
No, I got three. I'm going to do all three of them. Okay. This is resolution number 20, 21, and 22.
Wait just a minute. Somebody else tell me what the others are, so I know.
I went for 20. I went for 20 to 22. Well, apparently they were still included in the packet.
There's no new money in this, there's no new tax money in this, and later. So I'll make a motion for $1,000.
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, clerk call the roll.
David Mundy.
Yes.
Colton Rogers.
Yes.
Zachary Bunch.
Yes.
Dennis Cook.
Yes.
Willie Schubert.
Yes.
David Barker.
Yes.
Nathan Eckerson.
Yes.
Mary Ford.
Yes.
Mike Campbell.
Yes.
Stacy Crawford.
Yes.
Jim Shrout.
Yes.
Zach Mullins.
Yes.
Anthony Rowe.
Yes.
Mitchell Crosby.
Yes.
Rosemary Barnett.
Yes.
Carolyn Brooks. Yes. Steve Mason.
Yes.
Steve Grogan.
Yes.
Eric Jones.
Yes.
Sherry McCray.
Yes.
The amendments passed, 24, 0 against. Next item up is resolution number 23, supporting the Claiborne High School Blue Battalion Band. Ms. Barker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to, is this on? It doesn't feel like it's on. I would like to make a motion that we pass this resolution for our Claiborne High School Blue Battalion Band. And I want to share a little bit about what this is and why they're asking for such significant support. CHS Band is the only one from Tennessee that has been invited to participate in the Salute to Independence Parade in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to celebrate the 250th birthday of the United States. This is what they're currently raising money for, and I think it should be known that our band at CHS plays with
not great equipment. It's taped together, it's duct taped together, it's glued together, it's epoxied together. And they still make significant accolades. They've appeared 4 consecutive years at the Tennessee State Marching Band Championships. They were second place at the U.S. Bands at the national level competition in Huntsville, Alabama last year. First place at the Battle Invitational for the last 3 years. They have a 100% graduation rate among its members, and 100% of students who auditioned for a college band shoot shop, not sure exactly what that is, were offered one, no matter what subject they chose to study in college. So they are a significant entity in our high school and in our county. It's an opportunity for these students, and so I make a motion that we support them with $2,500 toward their trip to Pennsylvania to represent the entire state of Tennessee.
Second. All right, we got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just to clarify, this is for the lodging and transportation only.
Yes, lodging, meals, and transportation.
I know we've supported other ones in the past. I didn't want to give something to somebody else and be unfair. So that's what I was making sure.
Absolutely.
How many students go?
You know, I don't have that number, but I believe at last count, I actually go to church with the band director. At last count, it was 60 plus students in CHS band.
Is this enough for 60 students?
This is part of what they're raising. They're raising funds significantly. It's going to take about $40,000 to $50,000 to send them and pay for every student's trip.
So you made a motion, paid for how much?
$2,500.
I second it.
I'd like to manage it up, because I think if we got these kids that's got that, we need to help them pay the way, because I know some of them will have a hard time doing it. And I say, I'm gonna manage it, we do it. And one thing I'd like to say while I'm saying is, I like this year for the budget committee to put something in a line item in there, so when these kids goes to the state, or they go to the nice one and stuff, it may happen in between that we have a commission meeting and we can't get them no money. And I'd like for some money to be put in that budget, a line item in that budget, me and the mayor's done talked about it, and let the commissioners come up and they come and say, we need some money, and they get that, and they say, whatever you want to give them to go to the state, go to the nice ones, you just can set a dollar amount in there, and just the commissioners can call the finance director and tell them, hey, they need a check cut, and let them cut a check so they can go on, because I know our schools down there, some of them have happened in between meetings, and there's nothing I can do about it. It doesn't come and doesn't went and doesn't come back. And so I'd like to see that in the budget committee. I'm just telling you so. Okay.
I agree with that, and I second your amendment.
What amount, David?
Yeah, 5,000.
5,000. All right, we got a motion and a second to amend it to change it to $5,000. Any discussion?
Or if you want to make the meeting a whole lot,
Just
a whole lot shorter, just let her get in there and we'll go on.
You want to just change your amount?
Yes,
Just go ahead and do that and we'll play with some time.
Right.
That's all right with you.
that's fine.
Right, we don't have an amendment then.
I'll second.
Any discussion? If not, clerk call the roll.
Haley Barker.
Yes.
Nathan Epperson.
Yes.
Gary Ford.
Yes.
Mike Campbell.
Yes.
Stacy Crawford.
Yes.
Tim Shrout.
Yes.
Chad Mullins.
Yes.
Anthony Rowe.
Yes.
Mitchell Crosby.
Yes.
Rosemary Barnett.
Yes.
Carolyn Brooks.
Yes.
Steve Mason.
Yes.
Steve Brogan.
Yes.
Eric Jones.
Yes.
Sherry Rivera.
Yes.
David Mundy.
Yes.
Quentin Rogers.
Yes.
Zachary Bunch.
Yes.
Dennis Cook.
Yes.
Whit Jupiter.
Yes.
Motion passes 24, 0 against. Next item up is Resolution 24, authorizing Claiborne County to provide matching funds for a grant from the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation. I'll stop there. Mr. Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a resolution, like you said, authorizing Claiborne County to provide matching funds for a grant from TDEC Office of Recreation for the development of parks and recreation statewide plan. The total project amount, the budget for it is $60,000, and they're providing $48,000. We have to match it with $12,000. So I make a motion to adopt this resolution.
I second.
Got a motion and a second, any discussion?
What exactly is it going to be used for?
Steve, this is a 10-year grant. Claiborne County did a 10-year grant 10 years ago, so we're at that point again. What it does is allow people that can map out areas that would be suitable for greenway walking trails, biking trails, hiking trails, any parks that might be a suitable location for a park, or we've talked about farmers markets and all of this stuff, so that's what they do is look at the whole county and then they do an overlay map of that, so this is just renewing that last 10-year map.
Do you have any particular places you think this money may go?
So it just goes straight to the map. It doesn't designate one area over the other. It will just outlay all the areas that would be suitable for hiking, biking, camping, parks, and recreation spots across the county based on their population. That's right.
Who does?
TDEC.
Let me ask this, the $12,000 needs to be put in this resolution coming from undesignated fund balance?
Needs to be some fund, and that's where
It's not in the resolution.
So I'll say this, you can put that in the resolution. The grant application has to be made by the 27th of this month. We've already got it wrote, but the awards don't get done until July 1. So you can actually put this money into the fiscal year 27 budget. You're not going to have to amend the fiscal year 26 budget and pay it by the end of June.
I'll add it to the resolution. That's what needs to be done.
So TDEC is in charge of the money?
TDEC is the one that implements the grant. So they have individuals that will go in and do nothing but parks, greenways. That's what we've done over in Cumberland Gap with some of the bicycle stuff we've got over there through TDEC and Tennessee Department of Health both. So they're in charge of the whole thing with the design and implementation of the area map.
They probably contract some of
I'm
that.
satisfied they probably do. And like I said, this is something that you've done in the past. You had one done 10 years ago, so this just renews a 10-year plan for Parks and Rec.
Mr. Chairman, I'll add that to my motion where it's coming from, undesignated fund.
Okay. Everybody understand that? Any other
Is that
questions?
over a 5 year, a 10 year period?
I'm sorry, what?
Is that over a 10-year period, that's what I thought?
No. You'll pay the $60,000 or whatever, however how long it takes them to map the county, but the map is redone every 10 years.
Anybody else? If not, clerk call the roll.
Mitchell Crosby,
Yes.
Rosemary Barnett,
Yes.
Carolyn Goods,
Yes.
Steve Mason,
Yes.
Steve Rogan,
Yes.
Eric Jones,
Yes.
Sherry McCray,
Yes.
David Mundy,
Yes.
Quentin Rogers,
Yes.
Zachary Bunn,
Yes.
Dennis Cook,
Yes.
Whit Schufer,
Yes.
Haley Barker,
Yes.
Nathan Epperson,
Yes.
Gary Ford,
Yes.
Mike Campbell,
Yes.
Stacy Crawford,
Yes.
Tim Shrout,
Yes.
Zach Mullins,
Yes.
Anthony Rowe.
Yes.
Motion passes 24, 0 against. Next item up is Resolution 25, authorizing Claiborne County to apply for state Tennessee Opioid Abatement Council grant funding. Mr. Curry.
I'm going to turn it over to Mayor Brooks so he can explain it.
I'd be happy to do that, but you gotta have a motion in a second.
Oh, I make the motion, I'm sorry. I make the motion to accept that.
I'll second.
Okay. Now,
So as you all know, we partnered with Helen Ross McNabb for the first ever Inspire grant that did the jail work program. Part of that grant match money that we did, we bought a metal building and gave it to them. They went after another grant and we gave them a piece of property out there to have that transitional housing. So this is not local opioid dollars. I want to be clear about that. That's been circulated that this comes out of our opioid funds. It does not. The State Opioid Abatement Council has its own pots of money. There's been one other entity that's located in Claiborne County, in my understanding, that's applied for that funding, and that's the Hill Church that's applied for that. Helen Ross McNabb anybody that applies for grant funding on the state level can only be a recipient one time. Okay? So Helen Ross McNabb has multiple jail work programs. It meets the criteria for the opioid abatement fund use. So they're asking several counties that already have these programs in place to apply for it, and then they will write and administer the grant on behalf of the county, just like they did for our ARC grant earlier. There is zero match on this. All state abatement funds are zero match, so there's no match on these funds. If they are awarded the grant, that will be about $2.2 million and some change for that. They're going to serve 45 women over a 3-year period. Now, that seems like a lot. I had a couple of you ask me, that seems like a lot of money for 45 women for 3 years. You're talking about 135 women over 3 years. So the math doesn't work out right, but you've got to look at what they're doing with regards to the program. Their insurance, their medical provider, their clinicians that are in the program, their materials for the program, and all the other work that goes inside of that is all administrative stuff that counts in this grant, just like any other body is going to write a grant. There are administrative costs and supply costs in those grants, and that's what they wrote the grant amount for.
Any other questions?
So they won't be building nothing or nothing, no more departments or nothing like that on this grant?
No. This is just for the jail work program to continue funding it for an additional 3 years on opioid abatement money from the state.
And we don't have to put no money in?
No money.
Okay.
I mean, I know we're doing these partners who's going to take care of Claiborne County's part of the city being right or.
So Helen Ross McNabb will do the same thing that we did with regard to the Inspire grant. The county would receive the money into the budget, and then they will make requests from the county, just like we did with the other ARC grant.
And Jimmy, the county won't be liable for anything out there, anything, right?
I can't say unless I read it. I'm not ready.
We are not clinicians nor licensed to be clinicians. We would not be responsible for any activities that goes on in the program. Now, if you all want to see the copy of the grant, I'm happy to get that for you. But they only come in cycles, and this is their cycle. So we were not responsible for any of the ARC money for the Inspire grant either. I know that was a concern that many of you had, and we were not responsible for that. They are the agency that is licensed in that space to do the work. We're merely the conduit to allow them to apply for the grant money.
How many women went to the departments?
The apartments, I don't know.
The apartments are not aired.
The jail work program that they've had since they've had that, I want to say that they've had about 60, maybe, that have gone through that program. So they can only take a cohort of 8 women at one time.
What's the amount of the grant?
I think it's 2.2 million is what they're applying for. It's on the, it should be on the back of the resolution. But again, that's all state opioid abatement funds that anybody that has an agency can apply for. They just can only apply for one grant, so they're asking counties and jail work programs to apply for those grants so they can continue those programs.
So that's just for women only.
That's right.
Mr. Mayor, I'd ask a question, and I talked with Tim because I know it involves Sheriff's Department a lot also. And Tim answered every question that I talked about, but one of you know the partnership. You speak of partnership, it's like what he asked you the question, are we responsible, are we liable, or are we we're not in business, I know it.
That's not on the $2.2 million grant.
But I mean,
But
what
if we've got an inmate in that program, we're gonna get sued too.
That's what I'm saying, if he gets hurt or whatever.
But you're already into it.
Yes.
This just funds it. And the agreement basically provides we're each responsible for whatever negligence that we're responsible for. So if we turn the lady over to them, we may get sued. But if they mistreat her or don't treat her, that will be their responsibility. It just depends on what you do in the program.
Right.
We just release them and get them back. So there's not much liability there, but I can't say none.
Okay, I know he explained it to me that it's really up to the DA's office and all.
That there's a council that oversees that. And they go through an application process, and they determine who gets to go.
I just want to make sure they wasn't overwhelmed, you know, if we're going to have to hire additional officers, or you're looking at another 45 people that's in a program, but they oversee the whole program, is that correct?
So that program is outside the confines of the Justice Center. That's in the metal building over there adjacent to the Justice Center. So those women are released via court order as an alternate sentence to complete the program. So there's no supervision with sheriff's deputies or anybody in that program.
Yeah, I know we talked about that years ago.
They've done a pretty good job of screening too. You're not going to have your violent offenders that you can't control over there. So you're a little bit at their mercy, but also we, meaning the county, the sheriff's department, they have some input into that. They ask, what about them? What's their history? What's their record? How are they acting in our jail? The DAs that are on that committee, I think probably the vendors even got a representative on the committee. They find out who's a good candidate for it. So there's a good screening process in place for that.
What is the success rate of that program? You have reoffender, you have any data to support the reoffenders? The number of people that reoffend that's been through the program?
Or the success rate of the program?
What is the success rate?
So when I last checked our ISOM system, we have a recidivism rate that our system keeps up with. Now this was before we changed from our Eagle over to ISOMs. So there could be some discrepancy there on the change. But on the last recidivism rate that I had pulled up on ISOMs, which has been about a month and a half to 2 months back, it showed 27% is what it showed on our recidivism rate. And again, that's all according to your numbers on how many you're housing.
Is that all the population or just that program?
Well, that's the all of the population on ISOMs is what it showed. Right. And again, we changed from ISOMs over, or from Eagle over to ISOMs. So there could be some discrepancies there that might not have carried over, but it did show a 27% as of a month and a half or so back.
And I did also ask the question that they do not have to be incarcerated in the jail for the eligible.
That's absolutely correct. So just to further this and help explain this a little more, the Helen Ross McNabb program is separate from our local county workhouse program. Right. So we have our work program where we have inmates that we send out to different facilities that are screened, that goes to homesteaders, males, and we have females that go to England to work. And again, the mayor had touched on that briefly earlier. Our Helen Ross McNabb program is strictly a judicial setting. It is dealt with by both sessions judge, criminal judge, district attorney's office, and Brooklyn, which I think they have already left. So they all work together to pull these individuals together and decide who is capable of being part of the program. Now, the last number that I had, I think you spoke a little high, but it speaks about 24 since the program started with Helen Ross McNabb. Now, that was from the director from Helen Ross McNabb. Those individuals are strictly through Helen Ross. It's nothing to do with us. Once they're turned over from the judicial part, they go into that program. There are 2 different phases to that program, hence 2 different buildings, which is located near the Justice Center. You have your first phase and then your second phase. They get a little more lenient as they go through the phases. So they earn rewards as they go. So it's based off of their work ethics, their history, the classes that they may complete while in the programs, and things of that nature, so that they can, progress into the program.
But you don't have any data.
Have you got any of those 24 back?
I cannot tell you that. I didn't pull the stats for that. I just know that we have had, since Helen Ross started, we have had 24 just in that program. And again, that's not just inmates. they can also use the public. So if you have a mental health condition, a serious mental health condition, or an addiction, they also work with the public, not just inmates.
But there's no data, of course, this is,
I can try to get some for you, May. I don't have it with me, but I can try to get some.
The work release program is just for the people in jail. They don't work with the people out in the public. You said they could get them. It's just the ones that goes through the court that goes out there.
That's correct, Earl. Okay. So they also work the individuals outside and find placements and jobs for them and things that the same that they would with the inmates. They do the same thing with some of the public as well.
They have to be just as involved.
Yes.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that they're incarcerated.
Okay, anybody else? Yes, sir.
I'd like to just clarify a few things for myself and the commission. And now once again, Dan Sparlock with the Standing Gap Coalition. We're a prevention coalition for the county. And I'm all for anything we can do to, better these people, because as I say, we're also involved in the jail ministry program. I've been over there over 10 years. And I see the people come and go. I see the women. We have a women's program and a men's program. And so we're definitely interested in seeing the betterment of these people and have an opportunity to go on in life. Because sometimes, mistakes are just mistakes. And if you work yourself through it, you go on. You deserve to go on in life and do what you can. But in regard to this program, I just wanted to clarify a couple of things, because I think I heard the mayor say this is a female-only program, this $2.3 million program.
That's correct.
So, one of the things I try to watch out, to me, this opioid abatement money that's over at the state is a huge, huge amount of money. And I remember many years ago watching the tobacco program down in Florida when I was down in that area, and everybody said, oh yeah, all this money is going to go through education and so forth. And then everybody started saying, well, why didn't education get some of these monies? My interest is that these monies get to where the rubber meets the road, okay? And so at this moment, I think commissioners need to know we don't have any kind of residential housing for men. There is nothing for men. And when we say that we have the workhouse program, I think at this moment, the numbers I got is we got 4 females in the program and 8 males in that program now. And I just wanted to clarify with Tim that the workhouse program, even for the females that are down in England or somewhere that are a part of this McNabb program.
Different programs.
They're totally different.
2 different programs.
Okay, so I just think I'm just wondering, is there nothing a part of this kinds of monies coming to the county that's for some kind of housing for the men? Because I've talked to some of the inmates over there, and they talk about working down at homesteaders and sometimes waiting 1 to 2 hours for a ride back, after working an 8-hour shift. And I'm just wondering if there's any ideas of future housing for males. Why is it only females that wear housing? I don't quite understand that.
Helen Ross McNabb houses both males and females. The program we operate, there is no housing other than the jail.
That's right.
Correct?
That's correct.
So they do offer programs for the males as well on Helen Ross McNabb's side. They will help anyone, even in the public.
Yes, but we're getting a little convoluted here. They're not going to intermix genders in their building out there. That's strictly a female jail work program. They do offer those services in other counties, to where some counties, I think Hamlin County is in the cusp of starting that program for men over there, much like the women program is. If you remember some time ago when we went down this rabbit hole and talked about this, women are a smaller population in the jail. And women have less opportunities to get out and do 2-for-1s. That's why we mirrored the same thing that Hamlin County did when they started their jail work program. It was the easiest population to do, so that's why we've done it. Now, I will say that if anybody locally that has the ability or tenacity to do it, apply for an opioid abatement council. Build some housing for men and develop a male program. Helen Ross McNabb would do that if you all want to pony up the money, or if the state would give them the money. If Dan wants to do that with Stand the Gap, Dan can apply for that money. That money is out there for any agency in the state of Tennessee to apply for on the state level.
But none of this money can be used for that, right?
It depends upon what you write the grant for. They wrote this grant for the Jail to Work program, which is a program they're already doing. Now, I don't know that opioid abatement builds housing. I don't know of any grants that do permanent structure housing that's zero match for any of that stuff.
And there's no guarantee we'll get the grant.
And there's no guarantee you're going to get the grant because you're probably up against thousands of agencies that's applying for this round of funding on the state level.
Just a couple other ideas on this too. This particular grant, I know from having applied for, we have in fact applied for a state grant before. We did not get accepted, all right?
My apologies.
And so I know something about the grant, I know how it works. And so what I'm wondering is, most of the state grants are set up on 1, 2, and 3-year programs, okay? Do you know what this program is?
3 years.
Okay, so it's a 3-year program. Is that $2.3 million per year for 3 years or total?
That's the total 3 years.
Okay. And so out of that $2.3 million, that's the total amount of money, then what's going to be the sustainability for the program after that grant's over?
I would imagine they're going to do the same sustainability that they're doing now because our $500,000 ARC Inspire grant ended over 2 years ago. So they've been doing it in-house. So now they're an agency that is equipped to do it, so they're applying for grant monies to help ease their burden like you would apply for a grant to help ease Stand in the Gap's funding problems.
And like I said when I started, you know, I'm totally in support of seeing that we get this kind of help. But I just think for the commissioners, I think, and for all of us, we ought to really know so we can ask some questions in the future because this grant opened up on the 2nd of March and it closes on the 6th of April. So it's a window that's tight and close. First time I've seen them run one that tight. So I know that you want to do it, okay? But I think on this also, we have to keep in mind, are we going to be able to make adjustments from out of this grant as we go into this 3-year program? Is it going to be able to be reviewed and us make adjustments as we see necessary here in the county? Because we are in a joint grant funding application. Yes? No?
We are in a joint application in that we're the grantee and they're writing the grant and administering the grant on behalf of Claiborne.
Do you know if there's any ability to have adjustments to it in the future?
I would imagine if they need to, Dan, most grant amendments, when you have an overage or under, or you need to shift it from one line item to the other, it's as simple as writing a grant amendment and the state either approves it or denies it. I can't speak to all that.
And just one last point, I just want to make sure, because it's on the document that you have, that's the memo from Helen Ross McNabb. And down in the 3rd paragraph there where it talks about 45 Claiborne residents annually, I didn't know that was females only. Okay, but now I do. So that's something to be interesting because we don't have but maybe 8 people in the program, the max we've ever had. But then when you read into it, it says, this initiative will directly serve approximately 45 Claiborne County residents annually through residential treatment and structured reentry services for individuals diagnosed with opioid use disorder and co-occurring mental health conditions. I've never known, and I'm just asking the question, is that in fact the people that are in the Helen Ross McNabb program, that they are diagnosed with mental health disorders?
So it's a safe assumption to say that if you are addicted to opioids, drugs, or alcohol, that you are either self-medicating, which means you have a mental health issue on top of your addiction, or you're just addicted and that addiction can make you depressed, that can make you have anxiety. That's the basis of a co-occurring diagnosis. If you just check yourself into rehab and you're a happy alcoholic and you're not depressed or you're not anxious, then you're really just addicted to alcohol. But typically what you see are co-occurring disorders that most people that are addicted have underlying psychological issues.
Okay, I just think it's fair to understand that these people are going to get a diagnosis to be in this program, to even be involved in it. And the last thing on here is, it says that these grant funds will provide operational support for Claiborne County Jail to Work program. And I was of the understanding just a moment ago that this McNabb program is separate from Jail to Work.
So it is separate. You're
It's
absolutely
two
correct.
separate programs. So you got administrative costs on their middle building out there, which is court ordered for those women to be in, 8 women in a single cohort for 12 weeks, which gets you 45 women per year, totally separate from the jail to work program, to where they get out as trustees to go be delivered to England's or whatever factory that day and then return back to the jail. They get zero treatment in that program.
Okay. So I guess I would just like to close and leave us with a thought just to maybe remember for a little bit. On any given day over there at our jail, we have approximately 175 inmates, okay? And about clearly 60% of those, okay, are males. It's always the male population is higher. Increasing, and interestingly, in the 10 years I've been going over there, watching the female population come up has been very interesting, okay? And it has to do with the drug environments the way they are out there today, okay? But just reminding, and for us to think about somewhere in the future, if we can adjust to things, we need to do something for men. I don't understand why we are doing nothing for men. All they have is the jail to work program, and I'm just not sure about the NAB portion of it for the males. But that's what I'd like to say. Thank you.
Okay, just to follow that up, Dan, we do things for men. We have the MRT, the MAP, the EVP program. There are plenty of things that we do for the men as well, and the different programs. This is not just about females. We treat everyone fairly. But I appreciate you pointing every bit of that out for us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And he did mention the word MAT, and you need to know that in the audience, that's medically assisted treatment. And medically assisted treatment will be offered during this program in the facility.
That is correct, man. That is typically when you are in treatment and you are under addictive purposes. They may very well give you Suboxone or something else, but you're in a clinically controlled environment. You're not taking the pills home with you and hoping that you take one every morning for breakfast. You're under the strict guidance of clinicians while you're doing the MAT program.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion? If not, clerk call the roll.
Steve Brogan. We'll start with 7.
She's working with it.
Eric Jones. Jerry McCurry.
Yes.
David Mundy.
Yes.
Wayne Roberts.
Yes.
Zachary Bunch.
Yes.
Dennis Cook.
Yes.
Rick Cooper.
Yes.
Taylor Barker.
Yes.
Nathan Epperson.
Yes.
Gary Ford.
Yes.
Mike Hamel.
Yes.
Jason Crawford.
Yes.
Tim Trout.
Yes.
Zach Mullins.
Yes.
Anthony Rowe.
Yes.
Mitchell Crosby.
Yes.
Rosemary Barnett.
Yes.
Carolyn Brooks.
Yes.
Steve Mason.
Yes.
Motion passes 24-0 against. Next item up is a resolution to establish a program to supplement the property tax relief program of the state of Tennessee provided for in Title 67, Chapter 5, Part 7 of the Tennessee Children Ordinance. Mr. Mundy.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we pass this. Everything is basically the same thing that we wrote up. I just left out some language for it was non-void if the tax freeze went in, which you did go in, but Anyway, I raised this to $100, and the other one was 50, so.
I second.
Now, we've got a motion and a second, any discussion?
Got a question for Mr. Easton. Do we need to put anything regarding, I know this one says up to $100. Do we need to do anything for 2008 report?
This will,
What will we do?
I said that, amended, this is the new one.
I was making sure I didn't see any wording in there, right? So that wasn't my.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
This is just a new refresh.
Okay.
Any other questions? Not, clerk call the roll.
Yes.
Gordon Roberts.
Yes.
Zachary Bunch.
Yes.
Dennis Cook.
Yes.
Rick Hubert.
Yes.
Haley Barker.
Yes.
Nathan Everson.
Yes.
Gary Ford.
Yes.
Mike Campbell.
Yes.
Jason Crawford.
Yes.
Jim Strout.
Yes.
Zach Mullins.
Yes.
Anthony Rowe.
Yes.
Jennifer Crosby.
Yes.
Rosemary Barnett.
Yes.
Carolyn Brooks.
Yes.
Steve Mason.
Yes.
Steve Rhodes.
Yes.
Eric Jones.
Yes.
Sherry Prayer.
Yes.
Motion carries, 24-0 against. Next item up is resolution 27, authorizing the opioid settlement resolution. So, Mr. Mundy.
I'll make a motion to pass this. This is another settlement and all. We'll get a second. I'll let Mr. East step.
Got a motion and a second, any discussion?
You've adopted 2 or 3 of these. This is the latest one. It's $97 million. I figure our share will be in the $90,000 to $100,000 range. It's nationwide, and it's 6 remnant defendants, which are smaller defendants. That's why they're referred to as remnant defendants. So this is the class action opioid lawsuit. We'll get these funds probably this summer.
Any other questions or discussion? If not, clerk call the roll.
Sammy Mundy. Gordon Roberts.
Yes.
Zachary Bunch.
Yes.
Dennis Cook.
Yes.
Rick Hubert.
Yes.
Haley Barker.
Yes.
Nathan Everson.
Yes.
Gary Ford.
Yes.
Mike Campbell. Jason Crawford.
Yes.
Jim Strout.
Yes.
Zach Mullins.
Yes.
Anthony Rowe.
Yes.
Jennifer Crosby.
Yes.
Rosemary Barnett.
Yes.
Carolyn Brooks.
Yes.
Steve Mason.
Yes.
Steve Rogan.
Yes.
Eric Jones.
Yes.
Sherry Prayer.
Yes.
Motion carries, 24-0 against. Any announcements before we adjourn? I'd like to appreciate everyone that come and be with us tonight. It's a very good experience.
Please come back.
Yes.
Motion to adjourn.
I second.
Motion adjourned.
Thanks for joining me on this marathon meeting from the Claiborne County Commissioners. Have a great night. We'll see you on Tradio in the morning. God bless.